And to channel one of the originals in this time slot, we are live May 20th, 2026, Wednesday evening, just shy of midnight Eastern time, here with my buddy Brandon. I am Scoop, and we've got our guy Rob behind the scenes. And we are here for another K&K takeover. Thanks again to Kenny and Kurt for letting us hold down the fort for interim period of time. Brandon, how you doing, bud?
Not too bad. Just focusing on a lot of stuff's going through my mind. Besides this series with the Blue Jays, I'm going to the game tomorrow. I told you guys that earlier, but
Right.
um, hoping for a better turnout than what we're getting tonight.
Yeah.
Um, but you know what? Other than that, can't be too bad. Can't complain. I'm just kind of waiting out and seeing what tomorrow has in store, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. The game obviously still in progress due to a late start following a weather delay. But as we sit now, kicking off the top of the ninth, Yankees currently down 2-0 to Toronto, with the rookie pitcher Giovanni Cruz on the mound for us at the moment. Uh, he was wearing number 96, which is still not getting through to my eyes. Um, Leftwick 7436. Is this a Jody Moncrief burner account?
It probably is. I, just
But
because knowing
yeah,
knowing how Jody sends
yeah,
stuff out, it's got to be.
yeah, it does. With that, before we dive in, I know we talked about. I mentioned that I wanted to just mention this real quick. Not sure if he's able to watch the show tonight, but I want to give a shout out to Mr. Bobby Blackjack, the head of Surge Sports. Today, he said that he told us all that it was the 90th birthday of his father, who was, he always talks about how, big of an influence he was, sports in his service, and many other things. So, Mr. Blackjack, thinking of you, and happy birthday to your father, sir. And with that, uh, I think you kicked that off pretty aptly, I think, by talking about just how hoping tomorrow that brings a better product than today did, because honestly, it's incredibly frustrating the way that we basically turned Cam Schlettler into Jacob DeGrom, and the fact that we keep basically sending him out there to put down 7 innings for 2 runs or 1 run, and we can't so much as scratch one guy behind him. And except for Trent Grisham and Jazz Chisholm today, the rest of the lineup looks like they didn't even bring their bats to the ballpark.
Mhm.
Um, and all that being told, Cam pretty much literally threw until his arm fell off. I mean, he was still throwing 98 repeatedly in that final plate appearance. Mr. Wiltsey says, "Aloha, boys. Aloha, Mr. Wiltsey." And of course, go check out our good friends with Patrick Wiltsey over at Lion Coffee. A lot of great options that they have over there based out of Hawaii. And I apologize, Mr. Wiltsey. I don't have the sign with me. I came up to New York and I wasn't able to travel with it. But as we've been showing every week, you can go to his site, and I think Coffee 10, or was it Patrick 10
Right.
was the okay. Thank you. And then he the code that we've mentioned in previous, Mr. Wiltsey, correct me if that's not still active, but he's been really helpful to the show, really helpful to us. Sent me about a 50 times more coffee than I think I could ever finish. But with that, thank you, Mr. Wiltsey. And of course, as he always says, don't get too much blood in your coffee stream. So with that, appreciate you joining us tonight. Code Patrick 10, thank you. Just and the website here, we got the URL up now in the comments saying hawaiicoffeecompany.com/C/coffee. So, Brandon, back to what we were talking about. Um, you mentioned it before, and you mentioned it again tonight about us just not being able to hit good pitching. I mentioned how I think we started the season like 1-8 against teams over 500. it's just this just team feels like last year we joked about how we couldn't rise to the occasion against the bad teams, but the good teams we seem to be able to handle. And
Hmm.
this just feels like the opposite. It feels like we're going to completely keep making mincemeat out of the teams that are never going to be a factor down the stretch. But when it comes to the teams that we're going to have to actually beat, it seems like we just don't rise to the challenge.
Yeah, it's it's tough because it's like I'm like the resident like pessimist like Yankee fan, but
Yes.
but at the same time, it's just things I noticed just from years of obviously watching the game, but also just like I said, I played it a lot, so you know I I get concerned when I see it's like everybody's like, oh, this Yankees team is different, yada yada yada. I'm like, it's not really, it is different, just kind of in different, in a different capacity where it's like we're just getting the flip side and kind of the side you don't want of what you've been getting the last few years. So it's just tough because and I brought it up because I was just looking back through all the different kind of matchups we've had against really good pitching this year. Like, he's not having a great year so far this year, but just historically, he's been a really good pitcher, and that's Luis Castillo. Luis Castillo owns the Yankees, completely shuts them down every time he pitches. That's almost at this point, it's just a scheduled loss whenever they play, whenever they bat against him. Then you've got that Brewer series, all those guys, including their bullpen, but especially Mizorowski, like you're just not gonna hit 103, 104. I get that, so I was like, I don't expect them to, but you couldn't hit their bullpen. That's really good. You couldn't hit their other starters who are really good, who aren't throwing 102, 103, 104. So you're not hitting good pitching there.
Right.
Uh, Tampa's got good pitching. They usually do. Um, they haven't hit. Uh, they didn't hit Rasmussen, who's a really really good pitcher for Tampa. So far having a really good year this year. Um, and I did go back and forth, with a guy on Twitter who was talking like, oh, like you wouldn't consider Dylan Cease great. I'm like, when has Dylan Cease ever been great outside of every other year, maybe, yeah, but then the years that are in between those are awful years. So I'm like, he's not great. I think he's decent. I don't think he's great. Great is reserved for, to me, guys who are going to be or could be Hall of Fame potential pitchers. Dylan Cease is not going to make the Hall of Fame. Dylan Cease is
Mm-mm.
not a Hall of Fame pitcher. So, and historically, the Yankees, no matter where he's pitched, Dylan Cease has gotten roughed up by the Yankees. So I don't worry about Dylan Cease one bit.
He's a
He's
little
not.
bit of like a David Price type in that regard.
Yeah, like I don't look at him. I mean, like Darren Price was good against everyone else but the Yankees. Cease is one of those guys where it's like if it's a real good year for him, it's gonna be a good year, except the Yankees. But if it's a really bad year, it's like it's a really bad year, and then but yet he'll find a way to beat the Yankees. So it's weird.
It's bizarre.
It's like he's one of those guys. It's like the Yankees usually figure out like they usually tag him for 4, 5, 6 runs a start. Um, So, there's a couple starts that like I think he's had 7 starts against the Yankees, but he's got a 5.3 something ERA. Um, and a couple of the starts like the last two before this one, he gave up, I think it was like a total of like 2 runs, I think across the other 2 starts, but before that it was like 6 runs, 4 runs, 3 runs, 5 runs. It was a lot. So historically the Yankees can beat guys like him, but or I should say just him. But so tonight you're facing a guy in Trey Savage who is one of the best young pitchers in baseball. And once again, you show that you can't hit another really good pitcher. Um, it's a guy that I mean, hell, he damn near almost won it all for the Blue Jays last year, especially in the postseason. He was phenomenal, and I mean, he was one of the guys. Once again, the Yankees saw him when and could not hit him. And tonight, same story. You could not hit him. Like I felt by the 5th inning that this game was over because I'm like, if you're not going to hit him in the first 4 or 5 innings, you're not going to hit him at all. You're not going to magically tag him in the 6th or 7th. So it's like I just I want to believe that this Yankees team is different, but the hitting is just so inconsistent right now, and it's like one game they're scoring 7 runs, and the next game they're getting shut out. It's like where is the consistency? Like, I'd rather you be a team that scores 4 or 5 or so every night than a team that's scoring 7, 8, 9 runs or getting shut out the next night. It's like you can't have that. You can't be so up and down this season. So that's just not it's not working. I mean, you got a lot of guys who are struggling to keep their averages, because listen, batting average, these days doesn't matter as much. But when you have a lot of guys that are batting near the Mendoza line or trying to, dig their way
Yeah,
out of it,
it does start to become more of a concern the more that it gets built
yeah,
up upon you.
and it's tough. You've got, Judge. This is the first year in a long time he's been really kind of streaky as a hitter. Um, you've got Belly, who's great at home but is awful on the road. Stanton's hurt. Caballero's coming back Friday, but we don't know how he's going to come back. And it's like he's the kind of guy where it's like he's kind of overachieving, and we're kind of just waiting for it to fall off. Um, Volpe's come back, but I'm not fooled by the Volpe, by Volpe batting 300 in his first few games. I'm like, because Volpe has those streaks like that, and then he just falls off the face of the earth.
Yeah, no, well,
So
in either regard, 24 plate appearances, which I think is what he's at right now, is
yeah,
not a big enough sample size one way or the other, whether he was hitting 300 or whether he was hitting 150.
yeah, so it's like, you don't know, so you don't know what's going to happen with the shortstop position, which you
Oh
still don't
boy,
know.
sorry.
What happened?
You don't have the game on right now?
No, I turned it off just so I could focus on this.
Oh, I apologize. Well, it's first and third, and only one out.
For who? For them or for us?
We're batting.
Hmm. We'll see what happens there.
Um, Jordy says, Brandon tried being an Astro fan. That's inconsistent. That's inconsistent hitting. Mr. Wiltsey says, how many home run would Judge have in Colorado? I'd say about. I think it'd be. I think it's possible to say 60 a year, but here's the thing that I'm thinking of is I don't know how. The more I think about it, the more I wonder how would his physical specimen hold up in those conditions is what is
Mhm.
is what I start to think about that I hadn't really thought of before because
If you
again I'm used to and I very much used to am somebody who would say this a lot where oh he'd hit 80 home runs at Coors Field, but then I start thinking about okay, but also the conditions that you play in Colorado sometimes can wreak havoc on different
you would
people.
he would probably have to DH a lot more, or like earlier in his career, he'd probably have to DH a lot more. It's
Right.
just so it's like you don't know. It's a hypothetical, So it's like you would think that somebody like that you can just just transfer their numbers and make them better at a bigger park like
Yeah.
that. But there's more factors into it than just what meets the eye or what you would see initially. So it's like,
Right.
it's yeah,
Um,
he would because nobody on that lineup would be as good. So yeah, he probably you're not wrong, Jody.
and we're on the
Um,
board.
what how we score?
It's 2-1. This was a slap hit off. I'm trying to see who that was. He's going too fast. Um, I think that might have been Rosario. No, Goldschmidt.
Yeah, see, that's one guy that I feel like you have to work him in while Stanton is still out. You have to me DHing Rice is not a bad idea. Letting Goldie play first because he's better defensively, and on top of that, Goldie's just an experienced hitter.
Hmm.
So it's like I have no problem, letting Goldie play a few games while and still having Rice in the lineup. Now, obviously, when Stanton comes back, then you sit Goldie again. But he's a great bench bat to have. If you can just say, hey, we're in the eighth inning of a tied game, bases loaded, one out, and we have like McMahon coming up. Okay, well then, like just for instance, let's throw Goldie up there because he'll hit. So like, you know, he to me he can do whatever's asked of him. That's why I like Goldie, but just not as a full time starter, obviously.
Right.
Um, but still,
But but like in contrast for what he was making when they traded for him, bringing him back to make 4 million this year was
oh
easy
yeah,
easy decision.
easily, yeah, easily. So you know, are we what are we bottom ninth, bottom eighth? What are we?
Bottom ninth, 2-0 count on Rosario.
So if he gets on base, it's bases loaded, one out.
No. There was a sacrifice that happened in between. So now it's 2-1, runner on second, but two out.
Mm.
Jody says Goldschmidt or Rice at first. I think there's some righty lefty in play, but I still want to get Rice at bats against lefties also.
Yeah. Plus
I think
long term, it's Rice, obviously.
yeah, long term it's Rice obviously because but also I do think I do agree with what you said earlier in the fact that there are matchups in which I would put, or there's to use Boone's word, lanes in which I'd like to put,
Yeah.
like to get Goldschmidt some at bats as well. Mr. Wiltsey, just want to quickly go back on that. There is the DH in both leagues now, which was instituted I think 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So just to clarify on that. And I think Jody asked this earlier, something about when should the Astros blow things up. Um, I mean, to me, I'm always a believer that May is too early to decide to blow things up. And I think the Marlins a couple years ago, when they already said in the middle of May, when their front office already said that they were going to blow things up, I thought that was spitting in the face of their fans. So I think it's too early to. I mean, they're 11 under 500 right now. But the thing is, nobody in that division is playing well right now. That's the thing. The best record in that division right now somehow is the Athletics, who are 24-24, and that's over.
Yeah. There's the classic Yankees fake comeback.
Yep. But Athletics, Rangers, and Mariners each have 24 wins. So there's that really is, as much as any division, that really is anybody's division right now, because 3 teams are within a game and a half, and that's the only division in which that's the case, I think. But so I would still give it some time. And again, like we've talked about, Jody, most of that is, it's not just the factors of underperformance, it's also injuries too. Now, some of the injuries are obviously more severe than others. But I think also, and I'd have to look into their farm system further, but I think it also depends on what they find they're able to potentially do in the June and July trade season, as that starts to kick up over the next 4 weeks, ish. But I think it's how they evaluate their farm system to be perceived around the league, as far as what they'd be able to get done, because there's not a lot of clarity yet as to who's going to be buyers and sellers, obviously, because it's only the 3rd week of May. But so I think once you get some more clarity on that evaluation, that's as it's done around the league, you kind of get a better, more of a sense as to how much, as far as reinforcements, would be possible for them.
Yeah, and you know what it is too, is like, for any team that's kind of struggling right now, you don't start thinking about blowing it up until probably the end of June, like we're saying, end of June, first week or
Even
so.
I think with the extra playoff team now, I think it's even closer to maybe the All-Star break.
Yeah, which I can see. It just depends on how much to me, it's just all those factors. Depends what you have in your farm, how the market's shaping up for what you need, and also just the fact of how far back are you? Like, can you realistically, with what you have right
Mm-hmm.
now, possibly make a run, or do you need? It's like, how much do you need? Like, there's a lot of
And
factors.
also to what extent are you, when you say blow it up? Because that can mean like what the Yankees did in 16 with just moving off of guys who were going to become free agents, or that can be more of an in-depth thing where anybody is available pretty much. And
Yeah,
now I don't think that they would ever go to the extent of trying to move like core pieces,
yeah.
but like the question that Jody raises now. What do I think that Alvarez could get them in a trade? That's kind of tough, because it's just he's kind of like this generation's like this generation's David Ortiz a little bit, where he just does not play the field, and when he does, he doesn't play it well. Um, but he's so good as a hitter that pretty much any team would love to have him. Um, and and especially with the fact that the NL now has the designated hitter, as we just talked about, with them having that now, I think would have much more of a market for him than they would have a few years ago. Um, I think that's some also. Let me check his contract situation really quickly. He's under contract through 2028, so he'll have 2 more years after this season. So getting him for three playoff races, which is how a team would evaluate that. So getting a premier hitter for three playoff races and a guy who's only just about to turn 30, I think you can get a couple top prospects for that from a team and maybe a young Major League Baseball level player, not like an elite young player, but somebody who can come in and win games for you at the Major League level right now. Um, that could be that's sort of Juan Soto-ish to me a little bit, just maybe a little bit less because a little bit older.
Yeah, that's about right. Trying to see what
Um,
next. That's about right.
yeah. It also just, I mean, Soto also got traded 3 times, so it also just depends
Yeah,
on what trade you're talking about. But
yeah.
Mr. Wiltsey, no big deal. Just wanted to make that clarification because someone else may have had the same question. But with that, so yeah, as I mentioned, the game went final. Now we turn our attentions to Tampa. Now we talked about the hitting being the hitting good pitching being the issue. But speaking of good pitching, we're about to get one back ourselves in a couple days. Mercifully, after what has it been almost 18 months since we've actually over 18 months since we've seen him in a New York uniform, excuse me. Garrett Cole is about to come back and return and make his season debut on Friday. So there's obviously the sort of range of opinions in terms of what to expect. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, we're going to get back," they think of him as, who Garrett Cole. Oh, yeah, okay, I just answered that. But yeah, Jody, he's going to be back the day after tomorrow. Um, so where do you stand on that? Are you somebody who thinks we're going to get back, what he was when we last saw him healthy? Are you somebody who thinks, temper expectations, are where are you? Because I know you're all, as we talk about, you call yourself the pessimist. I call you more the realist. But where do you fall on this specific scenario?
I think, and Garrett had a good. He actually said, I think it was yesterday when they said during the game yesterday when Meredith interviewed him, he said that he was gonna that the plan on Friday was, yeah, there's a pitch count, but he's like I'm not gonna do anything basically differently than I've done for years. I'm gonna go out there 100%, you know, throw my hardest stuff. Like
Yeah,
I'm not gonna take a little bit off of it, just gonna coming back. Like he was saying, no, I'm gonna go full tilt for as
yeah,
long as I can. So I'm like, you know, and some people, across social media were saying like, oh yeah, like, but we don't want you to, feel like, you're rushed back. I'm like, it's not rushing it back. If anything, we've been waiting longer than what we normally would.
mm,
Normally, 18 months is because you're not out for more than that with Tommy John. You're out for about a
yeah.
year,
Well,
2 years.
but also at the same time, technically, I mean, there's also the thing that we got to point out. The last time he pitched in a major league game, yes, was late 2024. He didn't suffer this injury though until spring of 2025. So it's
Yeah,
not quite that full 18 months.
yeah,
I do agree with what you're saying. I didn't really feel either way. I didn't feel like he was rushed, nor did I feel like they went too particularly slow with him. I thought that this was about where I think we expected. I think that, at least for me, I don't know what different people have been hearing. I had been hearing mid to late May 2026 for a while now. So this is about when I would have expected him to come back. If it were June and we hadn't seen him yet and didn't and it wasn't imminent, I would have probably been more concerned.
yeah,
But yeah, I think that the thing for me is, even before he went down in 24, he was less durable than he had been,
Yeah.
and he was showing more chicks in the armor than he had up until that point. So, like, and again, I know kind of like what Shane talks about with wide receivers. I know numbering is kind of a little bit, subjective and whatnot, but I look at Cole right now. I'm kind of looking at if you can give me number 3 level stuff,
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Because I got Schlittler as I got Fried or Schlittler. Take your pick as my 1, and then the other as the 2. If I can put you in as the number 3 behind those 2 guys, I'm good with that. And
And
then
his velocity is still Garrett Cole like. And what's funny is, well, actually, he's throwing harder now than he has in the last 18 months. Like when you look at where he
yeah,
was throwing where he was throwing in the World Series in 24, and kind of where he was at in the one spring training game when he got hurt, like
yeah.
he was at, like, 95, 96, maybe 97, but throughout the entire rehab start he's been touching 100, almost 99, 100.
Which not only for which honestly doesn't all that surprise me, because that's the one. I won't say great thing about Tommy John, because nothing's great about tearing an ulnar collateral ligament, but that's one of the great things I think about Tommy John as it is today, is guys are not just coming back and being able to have more sustained careers than ever. In a lot of cases, we're seeing guys come back and pitching just as well, sometimes better than
Yeah.
what they were pitching before. Which is why, I'm not, my tempered expectations for him are less about having had the Tommy John and more just about the fact that he's going to be the age that he is. I think he's going to be what, 35,
Yeah.
something of
Well,
that
like,
nature.
yeah. But it's like, you like, I know that the injuries haven't been a thing for other guys who have pitched a long time in their career, but when you look at like the elite pitchers
Yeah,
who are older, like, the ones who were elite, like a Verlander, like a Scherzer,
Verlander, Scherzer.
they were elite until they were 38, 39 years old. Like Garrett Cole, and people forget, it's like, Garrett Cole before the injury. Well, I mean, listen, he was slowing down a little bit in 24, but he was hurt a lot of 2024. But
Yeah.
up until that first injury, Garrett Cole was one of the best pitchers, top 5 in baseball, not even a
Oh
question.
yeah. I mean, 23. He was unanimous AL Cy
Cy
Young.
Young. Yeah, so like, for people to like say like, oh, listen, it's been a long road, and he's been hurt the last 2 years. It's like, yeah, he has been, but like Chris Sale has come back from it fine this year.
Mhm.
Like, this year he's been phenomenal again. You've got, like I said, like when I think about guys coming back from injury, like when you're an elite pitcher, if this was like your third, fourth, or whatever starter, I'd be worried about what his effectiveness would be. When
Yeah.
it's yeah, when it's Garrett Cole, I'm not necessarily that worried because it's Garrett Cole.
Yeah, I didn't and I'll kind of remaster what I said before. I didn't inherently mean that like I was worried, so to speak. I kind
Yeah,
of just meant that like, you know, if he doesn't come back as AL unanimous Cy Young 2023 Garrett Cole, I'm not going to be, entirely surprised by that. I think what we're more
yeah,
likely to see is kind of what we saw in 2024, whereas you're still going to get that high end level, but excuse me, he may not be your go to number 1 at this point. And some of
yeah,
but some of that also isn't just on him. It's now the emergence of Fried and Schlittler.
yeah. And I mean, hell, I mean, if Freed is going to deal with what he's been dealing with the elbow, and also who knows when he comes back, how the finger blisters are going to go when the weather gets really hot. Cole could end up finding himself as a number 2 again.
Yeah,
So
I
like,
I I
you
think
know,
it's and let's just be honest. For most of our Yankee fandom, this is about as good of a problem to have with pitching as you could have,
yeah,
because to be able to have 3 guys that you're comfortable throwing out in a game 1 at any particular time, just of course matters that they're all healthy, and of course, unfortunately, right now, Freed is not.
yeah,
But hoping that that is a short term issue, and that, like you said, that it doesn't become sort of a nagging, lingering thing where he kind of goes, start to start or day to day over the. But again, if giving him a little bit of whatever they're doing now is going to help get him through July, August, September, and into October, then great. Because I, pardon me, because I we're gonna need obviously need all hands on deck, especially if the hitting is gonna continue to look like this.
I can't wait for if there's one thing that I'm just excited for on Friday is I mean, it's just gonna be you already know him taking the mound. He's gonna get a standing ovation when he comes back
He dang
because
well should.
it's Garrett Cole. Like
Yeah,
I can't like it's just great to see him again. It's like it's like the long it's a long lost friend,
yeah,
so it's like it's it's that's why like it's crazy for most guys who come back like a Rodon or whatever. It's like you can expect like a little bit of like turbulence through 3 4 innings, struggle to get through five. Like
yes,
with Garrett Cole, it's weird. Like because it's Garrett Cole, I almost like expect like 5 innings of 1 run ball like in his first start back. And
yeah.
I'm like,
Well, and
that's
it's
just how it is.
the way you said the way you talked about it before, like if he's planning on doing that sort of empty the tank where like he's gonna you know go full tilt on at that point, then I definitely think that they'll go pitch count on him. I think they'll
Yeah,
probably go I think they'll probably
like
evaluate, give him 4 or
75.
5 and then evaluate where he's at that point.
Yeah,
Would you say 65?
like 60, like 75
Oh,
about.
75. Yeah, so that probably is, all things going well, that's probably about 5 innings ish.
Yeah.
Um and kind of go from there. And then, but I'm just so happy and excited that he's gonna be back,
Mhm.
especially now, obviously. And I'm glad that it's happening in a Tampa series. I
We need
wanted
to
to,
win that series. That series,
yeah,
they need to like you because right now you lost tonight. You're 4 games back now,
yep,
so we have to win tomorrow. So like, that's a good omen for when I'm there because only scored 1 run tonight. Usually when they score 1 run, the next night they explode for 6 to 8 runs, whatever it is.
yep.
So I'm hoping for that result as I go
You
later.
and me both.
But but you can't fall behind like 5 games
No,
coming into that series. You gotta kind of stay at that four because if you sweep them, you're only a game back. Or if you take, you know, two out of three, then you at least gain a game. So
right. And
like
also, and the other component to it, being I forgot that tomorrow was game 4 against Toronto for some reason. I thought tomorrow was a game 1 against Tampa, um but going back to, we just talked about the hellish road trip that they just finished. But after the Tampa series, you go back on the road versus Kansas City and the Athletics. The
mhm,
Athletics have, we knew that the Athletics were waking up over the
yeah,
past year or so, and they're continually in that process. And then of course Kansas City right before them, and then always for last series we were able to sweep them, but Kansas City is a team that is still, they got Bobby Witt, they've still got enough good players that that you got to go in there and treat them like, treat them with respect. So with all that being said, I'm not saying that you bank wins to make it more okay to. I'm not saying that, but you dang well better go into this next series remembering what happened to you last time you went on the road and
yeah,
realizing you're about to go past that series and then have another two series on the road. Excuse me. Um, so I think that they've got to go in with that mentality of, this is a rival. This is a rival that is currently competitive in this division, and this is our last home series before another week that we're going on the road.
yeah,
So all those things being relevant, I think that they can't afford to just go into this, and also a fourth consecutive 1 run game to me, or is insane to me.
yeah. Hey, I mean, not for nothing, but honestly, we kind of should have saw that coming because obviously for the first two, but especially against the Blue Jays, because it's your division. Your division games are always going to come down to the last couple innings. B, you've already been coming into this. You've played, especially like I said against the Blue Jays, 2 straight 1 run games that you won both. You figure like it was only a matter of time before you lost the next one. And then and like I said, you're facing Trey Savage. Like, are you going to hit him? Probably not. So like it was just a matter. And hell, you even said the final score would be 2-1. You were on the money. So, I wish it was 2-1 us, but
Yeah,
that's
so do I.
that's in
I
the real.
yeah, I forgot that I even said that honestly, but and then tomorrow, this is because we got Rodon going to that's another thing to follow is another start for Rodon. What's he going to look like? Because he has not looked all that great coming out of
That's what
his
I'm worried about because I'm like this is what start number 3. This is usually the one where you need to see improvement. This
right.
this is kind of like it's like, hey, third time's a charm kind of thing. Like this is where you
Mhm.
kind of you need to get past
Now,
that bugaboo, like
now,
inning.
fortunately, I think in his second start, I definitely think there was like his walks were
There,
down, his strikeouts were
yeah,
up. The main issue that I had with him was his freaking pitch count got so out of control.
yeah,
So that's the main thing that I'll be looking for tomorrow. Kind of every start when a pitcher comes back, you're kind of like there's something different that you're looking at to kind of see how they're progressing. Tomorrow for me, it's going to be how economical his pitch count is. Like, can he
yeah,
get into that fifth, sixth? I won't go so far as to say seventh. I'll be realistic here, but can he get into that fifth or sixth inning and still have only used about that 15 to 20 pitches per inning. I
yeah,
usually like to see 15 pitches per inning, but I'll say 15 to 20, just based on where he's at with everything and after his injury. But I don't want to see him approaching 90 to 100 in the fourth inning.
yeah. I know. And then again, because if that happens, then I'm just gonna tell my buddies, hey, let's get out of here. Like, because I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna sit there
Yeah,
and
well,
watch that.
it's especially when I mean Schlittler gave you length today, but you have
Yeah.
to assume you're going to need extra guys from the pen for Friday if you expect Cole not to give you length.
This is the this
So
this is the tricky part of the week right here because you just have a still returning Rodon that needs to get right, and
mhm,
then you obviously like you were alluding to having that returning Cole. So it's like you you basically need to win. I mean, you want to win both of these next 2 games, but you need to win at least one of these next 2 games. You have to.
yeah.
So like that's kind of where the Yankees are at. And preferably you would want it to be the well, honestly, you as much as this sounds crazy, you would probably want it to be the start tomorrow because division games matter. So if you can take 3 out of 4 from Toronto,
I mean, they're
and
both
then,
division games, though.
but I'm saying like it kind of killed 2 birds with one stone. I'm saying so it's like instead of that one win being like that winning again, like splitting with Toronto, and then winning the series against Tampa, you kind of want to finish off the series, win it, and then win the series against Tampa. So you have 2 series wins
Got it.
instead of
Yeah. Sorry,
so
I was a little wonky as to what you were saying at first, but
yeah. So it's like
um,
it would kind of behoove you to really put forward that effort tomorrow, and also just for the simple fact that as Yankee fans we trust Garrett Cole more than Carlos Rodon. So
well,
like
yeah. I mean, I trust Garrett Cole more than about three other pitchers in baseball, and one of them's on this team.
yeah,
So, um, and but no, I agree. And then going back to what we were talking about the because again the bullpen recently we know has been shaky. We've had to kind of reorient the so-called Boone circle of trust like every so often because and giving him credit his last time out even though he looks like he was as out of sorts as you could have imagined and yet closed it out like slammed the door in the most emphatic possible way at the same time. It was the most Jekyll and Hyde closing situation I've ever seen.
yeah.
It reminded me back of when Rafael Soriano was closing for us.
Just
Um, but yeah, you remember that after Mo tore his ACL? That
yeah,
was, I mean, to his credit, he did probably about as well as you could have reasonably hoped. But good God, that was
just
anyway.
it's like and then that's one thing that's like the Yankees. It seems like it just comes back to haunt us is like Mo retiring, and then your only consistent closer from start to finish, and he didn't even close that long, was between what D-Rob and then Andrew Miller. So
I would say Andrew Miller.
like it's like that. Those were your only real kind of guys that were able to kind of do it consistently enough, and Andrew Miller was lights out anyway. So like it's I still wish they would have kept him. Like not for nothing, and I know why he didn't stay longer, but I wish they would have kept him longer because he was so good as a Yankee. Um, but like it's like it's crazy how in the last about year or so this team went from like, oh yeah, the Yankees always have an elite bullpens. All of a sudden, like the last year or two, it's like, oh, this bullpen's awful. Like it's like, or there's just not a lot of trust in anybody in this bullpen. Like it's like, you know, the wall coming into yesterday. Um, like I guess that's how we'll end the baseball part tonight. Just talking about the closing situation, but like it's um, but like Doval coming into this game yesterday was 0 for 3 in safe situations this year. Hadn't gotten a single one. And this is a guy who was a closer in San Fran. So I I was like, okay, let's see what he's got. And then of course, like the whole inning just completely unraveled. And I'm like, oh, like it was the luckiest closing effort I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, this is insane. Um, I'm like, okay, so he looked as shaky as Bednar does. I'm like, so you have two guys who are supposed to be elite closers who you can't trust right now. So it's like, who the hell else do you go to? I mean, Tim Hill's not a closer. Tim Hill is your eighth inning guy, seventh inning guy that's getting you the big outs. Yeah, but or him or Hedrick, who are both lefties, but
Right.
like Bednar obviously inconsistent at best right now. Doval definitely inconsistent at best. Um, Hedrick and Hill are fine, but Bird can't trust him really because you just don't know if he's going to have that great sweeper one day or the next day it's just going to be so far out of the zone, it's going to sweep across the zone and be a wild pitch. Um, you've got and you've got young guys like you've got Cruz up right now. We don't really know what he is because he's doesn't. We need to see more of him. You've got they've already bounced around a couple guys like Yeri De Los Santos. Um, it's kind of like I mean, hell, we had Cade Winquist at one point who never got a chance to pitch. He was just warming up for the fun of it in the bullpen
Yeah.
every game.
Yeah. That was one of the more odd experiences I can remember in terms of just like somebody who like clearly they saw something in this guy because they took him in the Rule 5, which means you have to keep him on your active roster, which obviously they weren't interested in doing because they let him go back to St. Louis. But I don't know because they hadn't picked somebody in the Rule 5 for several years. So I was pretty sure he was going to play an impact role for us this year, and it never came to that.
Yeah, and it's like you just kind of keep going down the list of guys and who's been in and out of that circle of trust and who's kind of been
Right.
like, but even the guys who are quote unquote in the circle of trust have shown some cracks lately. It's like, and this is one thing that kind of goes hand in hand with what I tell people about guys like a Will Warren or a Ryan Weathers. When they're on, they're on. But half the time this season, both of those guys have been not giving you any length. 4 or 5 innings is not enough. And so everybody's like, oh, why is the bullpen so bad? Like, well, the bullpen's bad, A, because they're just not consistent. Them themselves is not consistent. But it's also because when you have like a lot of injuries to your starting rotation, plus the guys that you kind of need after like a tough outing or an injured starter goes down, like a guy like Warren and Weathers who have not, been hurt this year yet, God willing, that praying that doesn't happen. But like they're the guys that's like after a bad start, you're needing them to kind of push through, and they're only giving you 4 1/3, 4 or 5 flat. It's like that's not enough because that means every 5 days your bullpen is getting completely blown out because they can't give you length every time they go out there. Warren especially, like Weathers has kind of been able to do it a little bit more consistently lately, but Warren hasn't done it at all. Warren is so far this year outside of there's like that 2 or 3 game stretch where he went like 6 1/3, 7 and like 6, whatever it was, like for 3 straight games. But outside of that, 10 starts, I think 5 or 6 of them have been 4 or 5 innings, and that's it. And one of them was like 3 2/3. Like he's just not giving you enough. I don't care that he's a fifth starter when he's not giving you when he's not
You know
even
what's quite
averaging.
remarkable to me
Yeah,
is when I go and look at this, and you talk about length in the rotation. New York right now is third in the AL in terms of innings pitched by their starting rotation. So you have to just think of how many innings are being eaten up by guys like Schlettler and
yeah,
Fried.
yeah.
Because sorry about that. There was someone trying to put a virus on this thing. Um, but between guys like Schlittler and Fried and company, um, just incredibly impressive when looking at the length that they're giving. Because, like you said, guys like Warren and Weathers have just not been have not been matching that.
Yeah, or Elmer, really, that when he's been called up. So it's like, he's still young, so I'm willing to, obviously forgive that. But it's like, but like if you're
Elmer's the
coming,
one I have the most patience with because, again,
yeah,
I honestly also think that they called him up a little bit early.
yeah, me too. And it's, but it's just like that. That's what stinks is like you're supposed to be a team right now. That's it's frustrating to be a to be a Yankee fan right now because it's like you can see the
Right now,
promise. Like, well, yeah, but you can see the promise of certain guys, but either they're just up too early or they're up because of necessity
right?
or there's just way too many injuries and it's like these guys are just never held. Like that's the one thing I'm worrying about and what I've been worrying about every year when we kind of get like confident coming into the season because like every team struggles with injuries and I get that. But it's like every time we keep saying, "Oh, the Yankees look like contenders," but I'm like, "Yeah, but they have a 30 something, they have a 30, damn near almost, 35, 36-year-old Stanton. They've got a 34-year-old, I mean, George Judge is Judge, but 34, 34. They've got a 35-year-old Cole. They've got he's 32 now or 31, Max Fried. Like, there's still a lot with Paul Goldschmidt. I mean, he's not an everyday guy, but older. Like, they're just not young enough. Like, where it's like the injuries every year at least for what seems like the last 3, 4 years, have just been compounding and compounding and like it just feels like every year that it's like we have that hope that they come into the season healthy, but these guys are a year older and they were already
And
hurt the year before.
I hate saying it because I love him, but it's getting to the point where I don't know that Stanton make it through this season.
Yeah, because I like you want to believe that when he comes back, it's gonna. But like, here's the thing too. Stan's never been a guy to come back from an injury and light it up right away. I mean, like last year was insane, but that was the one year. But like historically, like when he comes back from an injury, and I mean mostly for a lot of guys too, but for him, it's like, oh yeah, Stan's back in lineup. Let's see what he's got tonight. I'm like, yeah, but I already know just from history that he's gonna be crap for 2 or 3 straight weeks, and we're gonna sit there and be like, oh man, like he's
Mhm.
tanking the lineup and then he'll start hitting again. But
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
Well,
it's
and what I meant was he only has one more guaranteed year on his contract
and that's
after
what
this
you're
year.
yeah, and that too. Like at some point, it's just enough's enough. Like, I mean, I can see them giving this kind of core group that right now, Stanton, Judge, Cole, etc. This year, like this needs to be the run that they
Hmm.
make. But it's like after this, you can't hold on to certain guys anymore. You can't hold on to Stan. You just it's like, I mean, this is a guy we talked about like we talked about in the last 2 or 3 years. He's gonna hit 500. He might not because he's just not healthy. Like it's like it's tough when you see a guy like that who should be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but it's like he probably will go like going on to like his second or third because he's never healthy. So like it's
Hmm.
it's tough when you see guys who are supposed to be like the anchors of your lineup, but it's like they're just really old. Like, relying on a bunch of guys who are 33, 34 plus years old is not a championship formula.
No.
So it's like and it's I kind of wish that we would solve that. Well, a couple people, no, not a couple people, a lot of people noted that hey, they're running back this roster, not in full, but they're running back like 90% of this roster, and it's like this roster is getting old. Like
Yeah.
it's like that's why now you're dealing with all the injury. You're dealing with the Freed injury, and now you're dealing with Stan again. You're waiting for Cole to come back. You're waiting for Rodon to come back. Like you're waiting for so many guys that if they're healthy, this team should be the best team in baseball, but they're just never healthy anymore, year after year after year. So it's like at some point, this is what we said back in 2023. That should have been the year where you basically did that reset and just said, "Hey, let's not try to not try to contend, but let's not you know try
Put
to
all our
like
chips in this year.
exactly like that." We both said that should have been the year where this team reset itself instead of just
Hmm.
continually waiting year after year for them to get healthy, get healthy, get healthy, get healthy. It's like yeah, but like if they're all healthy come playoff time, it's a different story. As long as we get into the dance and all of these guys are healthy, then we can start dreaming of like, oh, they can go on the run because all these guys are healthy. But
Right.
you still got 160, game one versus in game 162, all those games matter. So if you're waiting the whole year for, oh, wait till they get healthy, wait till they get healthy, but you're losing ground to the Rays, or you're losing, or God forbid you keep losing ground and maybe someone like I don't know, Toronto catches you, then what are you waiting for? Like, then what are we doing here? Because it's
Right.
like you don't want to enter like you want to enter where you enter, but you don't. God forbid you like you don't want to enter any lower than that first wild card spot. Because you enter as a second wild card spot, you're just gonna get your ass beat because you're never gonna get home field advantage. You're gonna play a lot of good teams in front of you that have beaten you all year, and it's like and so like the only thing you'd be relying on at that point is, hey, are we healthy? And odds are right now you're not gonna be. So like it's not like I'm not looking at it as like a doom and gloom thing, but I'm looking at it as like, this is just the reality of where they've been the last few seasons. It's kind of just
Right.
been, wait till they get healthy, or wait till this lineup hits in the postseason, or wait till whatever. It's like, how, it's been it's almost 17 years. It'd be 17 years in October. How much longer are we going to have to wait for something good to happen to this team? Like, how much
Right.
longer? Oh, God.
And here's the interesting thing to me. If let's say this is the last year of Stanton in New York, I still don't agree, and apparently a lot of Yankee fans feel this way, but I still don't agree with the mentality that the Stanton contract was a quote unquote bust. Because in his whole time as Yankee, he's been one of the top 10 or 20% of offensive players in baseball. He has been, I'm going to pull it up right now, among the 22 players in that whole time had the most at bats in the playoffs. He's third in, you can go WRC plus. He's first in slugging, and in batting average, he was 11th. So he's been one of the top offensive performers in that time in the playoffs. And what do we always talk about? That Yankees are about what you do in October.
Mhm.
He's been the team's premier hitter. Because remember, Aaron Judge, obviously, as is infamous now, in the beginning of his career was not good in October. He's been the guy who offensively has carried the Yankees through October up until the point when Aaron Judge was able to click in that regard.
Yeah.
So the people who think that he was that trade was, and also remembering what they gave up for him, they gave up Starlin Castro, who was one of the worst second basemen I've ever seen,
Mhm.
and they gave up Jose Devers, who's not a name that I have thought of since that trade. So, and $265 million, which for the Yankees is whatever. Um,
Oh yeah, you know what's funny about that Starlin Castro thing too is like now see it's like a lot of Yankee fans will turn on Stanton, but yeah, a lot of Yankee fans have this revisionist history of Starlin Castro as he was a great player for us. I'm like, when was he ever? When?
no, and there's that one weird stat that people love going back to, where like he was like one of the fastest players to, I think it was 2,000 hits or something, and I'm like, unless you're Derek Jeter, I can't remember the last player that I thought of their hit total.
Yeah.
And the only reason I knew Derek Jeter's is because it was one of the top eight of all time, or a top nine of all time.
Hmm.
Like, I'm not interested in just how many times you hit the ball.
Yeah, because
especially if you do nothing else.
and then it's like okay, and then it's like we just spent the whole this whole hour on unfortunately, but there's so much to unpack when it comes to the Yankees, and we'll get into the other sports in a second. But it's like okay, so if we enter October, and let's say Stanton is healthy, are people going to hate the contract if he hits a walk off home run in the World Series? You're going to hate the contract then?
They're gonna find ways to make it sound like they were always a fan of his.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, then like, and then of course,
But
and then
right now they treat him like Jacoby Ellsbury.
yeah. I mean, listen, last year was like the 1 year of his Yankee career where it's like, was he hurt? Yes. And when he came back, he lit the game on fire. And then, of course, it was the one postseason where he just did nothing.
Right.
Yeah, like this year, but do you gotta think about it? The start of this year, we were saying, oh, he couldn't hit the fastball 95 plus. He was hitting a lot of them this early on this year. He was starting to kind of feel it again.
I remember one of those first couple games where he freaking went from second to home, and I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, so it's like if you get first 20 something 20 games, whatever it was that he played 26 games, something like that. If you get that version of Stanton, and let's just hope that he's healthy come playoff time. So then that's a sight for sore eyes because then they're going to need that, especially in this lineup right now.
Oh yeah,
So it's just everything kind of just the Yankees are in a very delicate place right now because is it still early enough in the season? Yeah, but there are a lot of problems, whether it's injuries, bullpen, just got certain guys not performing to what they should be at this point in the season. Like it's real touch and go right now. Like they're still in a good spot, but they can't let this division get too far away from them either. So it's like it's this is the first year where it's like I feel like I'm watching Yankees baseball. I'm like, I just kind of don't know what to expect because I'm just like, you started off so hot. Now you've been getting really injured, but you've been, kind of been really, really hot and cold kind of this whole way through. So it's like, or at least in especially the last few weeks, they've been really, really hot and cold. So more cold than hot, obviously. But so it's like this team, it almost feels like this team is going to have to find a way just with the injuries, just you got to go next man up. Like, I mean, this is the Yankees. Like, some of these guys really got to kind of put it in gear at some point. Like, you need a guy like Bellinger who's good at home, but you need Bellinger to put it into that second gear like he had last year. You need that second gear out of Bellinger at some point. Um, at the plate, fielding wise, he's phenomenal, but at the plate, um, Trent Grisham's hurt now, but like Trent Grisham needs to find that second gear because it's like every time we kind of think that he's turning the corner and starting to hit the ball a little bit harder, he's then having games where he's 0 for 4, 0 for 5 and rolling over everything. I'm like, okay, we need more. Austin
right.
Wells, we need more. You know, yeah, a shortstop position. We don't, like I said before, we don't know if we're getting out of Volpe and Caballero quite yet because Caballero's coming back same time Garrett Cole Friday, but obviously people are starting to, fall for that Volpe trap again where he's coming back batting real well and actually fielding pretty well so far. But but like no, it's still Caballero's job unless the freaking, God comes out of the sky and something. So like it's McMahon is like is so random because he plays good defensively, although defensively he's been a little bit shaky this year. And it's like he won't hit for 95% of the season, but he always hits the most random clutch home run you'll ever see in your life. So it's like it's like what the hell are you gonna get out of him? Like the only guys, I mean, even like I said before, Aaron Judge is streaky. The only bat in the lineup right now that's actually consistent, and even then he's had a little bit of a downturn since he's come back from injury, which is expected, but he's still hitting the ball hard. It's just that it's been right at fielders the last couple of games. Is Ben Rice? He's the only one.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like I mean, well, and actually Jazz too, believe it or not, Jazz is actually getting hot now too. But
Well, I mean, and that was the frustrating thing is that Jazz had a couple of good hits today. He just gave back one of them with a dumb error.
yeah, like it's like if listen, honestly, if when Stanton does come back, and if those baggy Stanton pants are keeping Jazz afloat at the plate, just let them wear them. Let them wear them. They got plenty of pants. It's fine. You got to believe in something. I don't care if it's like a golden thong. Again,
That's
I I don't care what it is. Just let him do it
That's
because
the
it's
funniest thing we've had since Bronxy the Turtle.
yeah. I wish that account is still funny. He's still around on Twitter, by the way.
I know, I
Um,
follow it.
yeah, he's pretty good. But
Oh,
listen,
Mr. Wiltie
yeah.
says, "Are you guys Knicks fans?" First of all, in a word, no. Brandon's a Brooklyn fan, and I'm a New Orleans fan.
Yeah, yeah, two of the worst franchises in the league right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Phenomenal. Oh,
Um,
but that's
Mr.
a great segue into basketball.
It is. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna just do a quick minute or two here on the news that came out earlier this week.
Hmm.
So the Pels finally, after what seemed like close to 2 months, even though I don't think it was quite that long, announced a new head coach. It was a little bit surprising. It was somebody that was reported as not being particularly likely as recently as a week or two ago, but they did end up hiring former Magic head coach Jamal Mosley. Was also a former assistant for the Dallas Mavericks, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Denver Nuggets, and also had a 5-year international career. Coach Mosley is coming over from Orlando. Spent 5 years there. He took over a team that in the first year went 22-60, and has made the playoffs the last 3 years. Now he was not able to advance past the first round, but he took the team to a game 7 both times. And I know that the team was looking at, um, and when I say the team, I mean New Orleans. You know, they were looking for not just definitely a culture leader, but I know they were also looking for somebody who was experienced in turning around teams that have been kind of in long-standing rebuilds. Which, of course, Orlando for an extended period of time had been really among bottom feeders. So I know that that was a team, or that was something they looked at. One of the other guys, and somebody who had gotten a lot of buzz, Rajon Rondo. This is just speculation on my part, but I do wonder if they're going to look to try and bring him in as an assistant head coach. Um, and but and then I'm not sure about what happened with the Darvin Ham leg of the situation, because I know he was a finalist as well. But ultimately, they do go with Jamal Mosley. So, and this was definitely the name about whom I knew the least of the finalists who remained once they had kind of made it clear that all interviews were done. But the things that I've heard about him have been pretty mixed, which is to be understood, or sorry, rather to be expected, and is understandable. He obviously, people get, there's criticism of him that they weren't able to advance past the first round of the playoffs. There's been praise of him for the fact that he took around a team that had been, going back to before he was hired, a team that really, going back to Stan Van Gundy, I think, hadn't really done anything,
Hmm.
um, and won more playoff games than anybody, including Steve Clifford, his predecessor, going back to Stan Van Gundy. So really, their most successful head coach in a decade, um, and a team that really hadn't seen much of anything going back, you know, well over that period of time. So it is kind of funny to me that you look at the Orlando Magic head coaches, and I mentioned Stan Van Gundy. Stan Van Gundy's successor was Jackie Vaughn, who later coached your Nets.
Hmm.
Vaughn's successor was James Borrego, who is now being succeeded by Jamal Mosley. So kind of funny how all that ties together. But as an outsider, you have any thoughts on this hire for New Orleans? And if not, we can then pivot over into the playoffs, because obviously I know that that's on a lot more people's minds right now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I like the move. When you think about where the Pels sit, it's like, you know, when nothing's working. I mean, it's good to bring in a coach that has been in the playoffs especially for consecutive years
Yeah.
lately. Um, and not for nothing, but for people blaming for people blaming him for Orlando's kind of shortcomings the last couple of years. I mean, when have they ever really had a great roster? Like, it feels like Orlando's been the team the last few years that's just kind of overachieved, and I think a lot of that is, and I'm not using overachieving as a bad thing here. It's like he's getting a lot out of a little. I mean, Orlando's not a great. Are they a good enough roster to at least make the playoffs and make some noise? I think so, but they're never going to be a team that wins multiple rounds and whatnot. They're just not built that way, and that to me that's the lack. That's kind of a lack of real ownership and a good GM, which I don't think they really have. Um, but so I don't put any of Orlando's kind of shortcomings in the playoffs on him. I think that if you can get a guy that's made the playoffs that consistently lately, it's only going to help you. Um, I just think that not for nothing, but the Magic would have won this recent series if Franz Wagner wasn't hurt. So, his injury directly impacted that series. They would have
Right.
won if he wasn't injured.
Also, what
So
the heck was that noise?
I don't know. So I can remember I can't see a lot of stuff coming on my phone, so I'm relying on kind
My
of
apologies. I just heard like a da which made it sound like somebody was coming in, but then I didn't see anybody.
but so I I think it's a positive thing. I mean, listen, you need a spark, and I think Orlando's just had a
And LA
habit.
wasn't offering anybody.
Well, yeah, and I think Orlando, like, they just have a habit of getting rid of coaches, I think, too fast
Oh
and
yeah,
not allowing them to really build anything there long term, which is why that Orlando's kind of stuck in this holding pattern of, you know, crap team for so long, couple playoff appearances, move on. Crap team for so long, couple playoff appearances, move on. It's like you gotta let the coaches build. And when you're
gotta let it marinate.
and when you're kind of running, and honestly, when if you're Orlando, just like with other teams, when you're running back a lot of like 90% of the same roster every year, it's like you're really not making the changes you need to be making to get better. You're kind of just staying where you are.
Right.
So it's 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 just tough, if you're a Magic fan, because I know a couple, and it's like they're just like, yeah, we're just stuck in like this purgatory where it's like, you know, where they're just like, hey, we're making the playoffs, but we know we're not winning anything. We're kind of just like that fun team in the playoffs every year. It's like,
Hmm.
like that pesky team, I should say. And that's kind of just what they top out as. So it's, but you don't get any better if you don't allow your coaches to continue, on and build, and and if you don't kind of give them a better roster after the year's over. So it's I think for you guys, I think if you guys play this smartly and
Right.
develop what young guys you have there, you
Yeah.
know, like
Two of
especially
whom just made all NBA second team today.
yeah, which is important. So if you can build off of that and then give him more to work with, I mean, I don't see a reason why. Maybe not next year, but the year after, you guys couldn't be a sneaky play-in team. Or hell,
Right.
even somewhere where you could be fighting for that 7 seed.
Can you not kick me in the ribs?
So it. I like it. I don't
Thank you.
see why.
I just like to clarify. I said all NBA. I meant to say all rookie. My apologies.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you meant. Yeah, all rookie.
Yeah, I wanted to clarify that.
Did my boy Demon make anything?
Let me double check real quick because I
'Cause
don't have
I feel like he should be on one of those teams.
uh here we are, all rookie teams. Um, so number one or first team was Cooper Flag, not Con Knupel,
Yeah,
um, VJ Edgecombe, Dylan Harper, and Cedric Cowd. And
that's
then
fair.
second team was Derek Queen, Maxim Raynaud, excuse me, Jeremiah Fears, Ace Bailey, and Colin Murray Boyles.
Crazy to me. Oh, I guess because he didn't get enough playing time early on. Because Demon should have been, I think, on second team. But that's fine. But
It doesn't show anybody. It says the other players who showed up on at least one ballot were the following: Trey
there you
Johnson, Trey
go. Yeah,
Johnson, Hugo Gonzalez, Will Riley, Carter Bryant, Egor Demine, um, Zion James, Kasparis Yakuchonis, and Ryan Nemard.
Devin being that far down is blasphemy. Just because this is a guy that literally just set the NBA record for consecutive games, rookie record for consecutive games with a 3-pointer made. So that's insane that he only got two out of that. But I'll take it. It's something. At least he got voted for at all.
Hmm.
But damn, man, I really thought that he had a better season than that. Well, it just goes to show that no one cares about the Nets. I understand that. I understand that we're garbage. Um, but you know, it is what it is. Um,
It is just amusing to me to see one guy named Coward and one guy named Fears. I don't know. That's just funny to me.
yeah, it is pretty. It is pretty funny.
Also, I was talking about Van Gundy, Stan Van Gundy, a few minutes ago. Also, just shout out to him and his brother Jeff Van Gundy and their connections to Rochester, New York. Jeff Van Gundy was his original stop as a head coach, as a high school head coach, was McQuaid, where I managed for 2 years. So, just fun thing
That's
to mention.
that's very interesting that DeAndre Jordan got teammate of the year because DeAndre Jordan to me hasn't been relevant in like 7 years.
Who is
I have
Twyman Smoke or Twyman Stokes?
couldn't tell you. I actually don't know. I mean, this. I mean, you gotta remember, I've been not out of the loop, but in terms of like my team, I've been out of the loop with the NBA for a few years just because it's just not my team is just not, the Nets are just never a good basketball team. So like,
I mean,
you
neither
know,
are the Pels, but
You guys
uh,
gotta play
well,
fantasy basketball, then you know who these people are.
I
yeah, but
do.
then
I know.
my
No,
brain
I do play
fogs,
fantasy
Rob.
basketball. It's not the players I don't recognize. It's the guys the friggin' awards are named after.
That's interesting because to me the MVP would have been Wemby.
Yeah, I'm fine with Shea winning it. I understand
I
why they
don't
did.
I don't hate SGA winning it again, but to me I think Wemby was just a little bit better.
Did y'all see the Did y'all see the after they won? Did y'all see the interview that Wemby did, or the press conference that Wemby did? And he basically said, there's 8 billion people and everyone's going to have an opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love the way that he carried himself in that interview.
Rookie of the year, Cooper Flag. Yeah, the white guy's got a little motion. Um, it's what it is. Um,
22 years old. That is insane. And
yeah,
the
yeah,
first unanimous winner of Defensive Player of the Year.
because bro, I mean Wemby's a triple double and a half every night. Forget triple double. He's triple double and a half. The guy would drop 40, 20, and 20 with like 5 blocks. He's stupid. I mean, when you're that tall, like, and there's always been those concerns about like, hey, like, is his body gonna hold up because he's so 7'2", 7'3", and yet he's like so skinny and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, the guy's
Wait,
unguardable.
Nikhil Alexander Walker is related to Shai Gilgeous Alexander?
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, obviously they have they gotta share some last
I
name.
mean, the Alexander, I get it, but like, I just didn't,
The fact that you guys didn't know that is amazing.
I mean,
bro.
you gotta
I
realize
That's
can't, bro.
it's
I
like
awesome.
can't, I can't keep track of every geological
you also have to realize
crossover in
I don't
sports.
care about Hawks basketball because they suck as bad as we do, so I don't care.
Well, also, I mean,
Yeah.
at least you guys try to play defense. They just punt on it.
Like, like that's the one thing is like if it like for my squad for Brooklyn, we're not a bad defensive team. But the problem is we lose games 95-60 because we can't score. So like it's like we have good defense, we just don't have any offense.
Keldon Johnson.
Oh, that guy was a pain in the ass back in college. I
How
remember
so?
him. I remember him playing against Seton Hall a couple times. I think he played against Seton Hall a couple times, but he was always one
Oh,
of those guys who was a pest.
I don't
Brad
remember that.
Stevens.
Brad Stevens.
Interesting how that guy went from failed head coach but great executive.
Was he that bad of a head coach? I don't remember that being that.
He wasn't great. Like he really wasn't great. Um
I guess like he also was um in the aftermath of the whole Doc Rivers. Try that again. Doc
yeah,
Rivers situation.
like it's crazy because it's like I never thought he was that bad of a coach, but he definitely wasn't great.
Right.
Um,
I
but
mean, now having Joe Mazzulla, that definitely makes Stevens not look as good as maybe he did look originally.
yeah, like that's like under Stevens, you kept wondering, hey, like when are these guys gonna win something? Like because they're just kind of they should be better than what they are. Like they're good, but they should be better than what they are. Um, but then you get to these two current series. Um, listen, I Spurs OKC. That was I think a lot of people kind of said that was always going to go 7, and it probably should. Um, and then
It's
you've
one of the
got
greatest. It's
obviously,
one of the greatest 2 games of the last 20 years.
yeah,
Both
yeah,
games are phenomenal. Like even today, OKC was definitely better, and I still think they're the best team in this series. And they showed it tonight. I was like, oh my, because they don't know what to do with Wemby. What the hell are they gonna
see,
do?
see, you know what this tells me. This OKC and Spurs series. This is why I think that whoever wins it probably should win it all. Like I'm a little more hesitant on the Spurs winning it all because I think they're ahead of schedule. But
They're ahead
one
of
of those
schedule
two
by like a
teams,
year or two, I think. Yeah.
yeah, one of those two teams though should still win the final because because regardless if it goes 7 games, iron sharpens iron. These are the two best teams in the NBA. So
Right.
like I know Knicks fans are going crazy saying, "Oh, this is our year." I'm like, you got to realize iron sharpens iron, and the Western Conference has been far better the entire season. So like, and it's like you just struggled to beat the Cavs, and the only reason you beat them is because James Harden sucks. Put it
Yeah.
that way.
He's like he is.
So
Um,
so
yeah. I mean, I respect what the Thunder did today because in Game 1 they used Caruso a lot against
mhm,
Wemby, which is fair because he's an incredible defensive player. He's just way too small.
right.
So Chet played a big role. Hardenstein was incredibly physical, especially late in the game. It's you don't have to out physical Wemby. You kind of just have to beat him up a little bit.
You have to you can't you're not
You
gonna
kind of have
stop.
to push him around.
It's one of those things where it's like what's that saying? Like, you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. You have to just contain him.
That's what I mean. It's just pushing him around a little bit. That's it.
Yeah,
It's not. You don't have. You just have to. He's going to get his points. You just have to limit it as much as you can. It's really just the physicality
he's just
aspect
a
of it.
walking. Like I said, he's a walking triple double and a half every night. But here's the thing. It's like if that triple double is 40, 20, 20, and 5, then it's like, okay, you lost. If that triple double is 20, 10, 10, and 3, whatever it is, then you can win. That's the difference. So it's like,
The biggest thing,
wow.
and I'll pull it up really quick if I can. The turnovers were terrible
Oh yeah,
today. I mean,
yeah.
the turnovers today were just atrocious by the Spurs.
That's
And that's the thing. They can play sloppy. They can be sloppy. And that's why they need Wemby because
and
they can
yeah.
just turn sloppy like this. And OKC doesn't have that. I mean, they might have that. They might have had it occasionally in the regular season, but everyone has a sloppy stretch. You know what I mean? It is for them. It's like, okay, they're
That's
actually
yeah.
sloppy. Like,
Yeah.
let me see where. I
See
gotta
that,
look
but
at
see
the
that that's why
box score.
I don't like Knicks fans like licking their chops like watching this series like, oh, look at these turnovers. I'm like, yeah, but here's the thing: when other teams turn the ball over against you, you can capitalize off of them, and then they don't have the firepower to go back against you. OKC and the Spurs have that firepower where they can still turn the ball over and still beat you.
Yeah,
So like, it's the difference.
I'm just looking at this. Spurs. So Champagne was plus 11. Wemby was plus 1. Their entire rest of their roster was negative. Vassell -7. Castle -11. I think Castle had how many turnovers did he have? Castle had 9 turnovers by himself.
Mm.
Keldon
But
minus
even then,
14.
even then,
Everyone else is basically minus 10. I mean, it's
I mean, and even then, like for any other team that you're losing that game by halftime. For the Spurs, they were in that game until the last minute of the fourth quarter.
I know, and I don't,
So like,
and that's
yeah,
the thing. if you have a 9 turnover game from anybody on the Knicks, you're losing by 20 in most cases, unless it's Cleveland when Cleveland doesn't know how to run an offensive set.
Well, that's the thing that pissed me off about Cleveland. I'm like, Cleveland, like, they're up by 22 with like halfway through the fourth. I'm like, okay, this is over. And sure as hell, I'm turning it on. I'm like, guys, is anyone gonna play defense down the stretch, or are we just gonna, like, who on God's green earth say, you know what,
Patrick,
I
yeah,
think James
I
Harden,
understand that.
like, I think James Harden can guard Jalen Brunson. Who's the dumbass that thought that? Because
The entire problem that I'm having with Cleveland is, and I talked about this last week, I think, at some point last week. My entire problem with Cleveland is that James Harden is better off ball, but he doesn't want to be off ball.
Yes.
If he's off ball, their offense is really smooth. It's actually like wildly better, and but they're not going to do it because they're going to piss him off and he's going to get pouty. It's like, dude, you're in the conference finals. Just play off ball. Like, not every set needs to run through James Harden. Not even Donovan Mitchell needs to run every set. You have Sam Merrill, you have Dean Wade, you have other guys that can get the ball down the floor and make good decisions. And so, like, you don't need Donovan Mitchell to carry the ball up the floor the entire time. You don't need James Harden to do it the entire time. And I'm not saying Mitchell's a shooting guard. He doesn't need to carry the ball up the floor. He really doesn't.
James Harden.
So, and Harden doesn't need to either.
Like, I feel like if the Cavs are gonna have any hope of winning that series, especially after they just brutally lost game one, like, if you have any hope of winning that series, you've got to switch it up and let Harden bring the ball up the floor and Mitchell.
Well, no. What I'm saying is have Sam Merrill do it. Have Dean Wade do it. Like, don't understand why you don't. They have guys that can dribble the ball. Like, it sounds stupid. Take the ball out of your star's hands, but I feel, as dumb as this sounds, I feel like if they do it for one game, they can win. They can beat the Knicks by at least 10 to 15 points. It sounds stupid.
They should have beat them by that much last night, but they didn't do it. Like,
and then they didn't do it because that's the thing. They're also streaky. Do you remember the Detroit series? Remember how pissed we were during the Detroit series because both teams were so streaky and annoying?
Cleveland was so much better because Cleveland was so much better, and they just couldn't finish games.
Yeah,
like that's been the problem with Cleveland really all
Carmelo's
year.
On NBC right now, Patrick, enjoying his life on NBC.
Oh, that was the funniest thing the funniest thing I've ever seen through this entire NBA season is literally Vince Carter saying to him on the set, "Hey, like, how did they handle your how they manage your load?" And Melo's like, "Huh?" Like, looking at.
By the way, if I remember correctly, that was like their first show of the season, or like one of the first 2 weeks of shows. It was really early on in the year. It was back in October. It was back in October. I remember. It was back in October. It's like when the season started.
The post I saw, with the one I sent you, was from February, whatever it was.
Yeah, but that happened in October. It was like the first. Scoop is disgusting.
I just
Scoop, this is why you need to watch more NBA.
And that's why I texted you guys. That's why I texted you guys after that. Like, when I sent that post in the chat, and I was like, "Yep, there's another Nets L against the Knicks." Sure.
I mean, I saw that live, dude, because I was watching it.
Like
saw it when it happened. Or no, it was. No, you know what it was. You know what it was. I remember. It was week 2. Remember when they did the Jordan, the Michael Jordan talks with Mike Tirico? I think his second week, he was talking. Maybe it was the first week. It was one of the first 2 weeks of the season. Michael was talking about how he never load managed, and that's what the conversation. That's what it was. It was like the first 2 weeks.
Did you enjoy it?
It was based on Michael Jordan conversation with Tirico on that weird ass couch that looks like from. I don't know. I'm having issues with furniture now too, because like this is gonna turn into a furniture thing. How furniture is like expensive and it doesn't even like feel good.
I mean,
when you sit on the furniture.
Was it?
Have you do you read Furniture Digest or something? Like look at like
What?
Furniture Digest,
What is that even?
or it's like Architectural Digest or something, and you look at the couches, and it's like it's like 700K for a couch, and sit on it, and it's just nothing. It's just like the most.
What couches are you looking at?
I mean, well,
What do you mean?
God.
What couches are you looking at?
the greatest
Not
thing I think,
$700,000.
the greatest
Or
thing I think I've ever heard.
$500,000 or $100,000 for a couch.
The greatest thing I've ever heard was that thing I saw last night where Barkley called Max Strus was a handsome man. He was like really complimenting. He was like, oh, that's a real pretty dude right there. Or something
Dude,
like that.
that's my biggest problem. This is turning into a tangent. My biggest problem inside the NBA, and it's gotten worse. They don't watch basketball. They don't, unless they're on set. They don't.
Well,
Because like Max Strus is a handsome man, bro. Max Strus is a pretty good NBA player. You should know who he is. Like
You're the one who was the way you were talking about the combine.
I mean, you got to think about it this way. Like, Kenny knows ball. Ernie knows ball.
Well, Kenny's also on ESPN a lot more than the other guys are because he's also part of NBA Countdown and stuff.
But it's like, but like Shaq and Chuck, it just is what it is. Like with Shaq and Chuck, it's like, well, like Shaq is just enjoying retirement, doing 10,000 other things. I don't think he has time to watch basketball anymore. It's like that was his life.
Did you see his gummy brand? Have you guys seen like the Shaq gummies?
No.
No.
But I kind of want to now.
Let me look up. I think it's Shaq.
What kind of gummies
Shaq
are we talking? What kind of gummies are we talking here?
Well, yeah.
Shaq It's called Shaq-alicious.
Okay, just from that title, I know what kind of gummies.
It's literally eating a gummy of Shaq's face. That's literally what it is. It's just face in a gummy.
And if Charles Barkley came out with one, the faces would be the big old San Antonio woman.
Oh god, the San Antonio woman.
That's never gonna end.
Speaking of that, did you see that woman? Okay, wait, I gotta tell this story. So this was like right before the playoffs when like we had that stretch of like awful NBA games. Remember, like after the Super Bowl to like the playoffs where it was like the worst basketball you could ever watch. There was a woman sitting courtside at a Spurs game and saying, how can these bleeping, I have to do it this way, how can these bleeping Hispanics afford these seats? It's like, you live in San Antonio, you idiot.
Yeah, boy, she must have failed geography.
It's like, what?
Holy hell.
That's insane.
I was like,
boy.
seriously, dude, she was texting like somebody and somebody recorded it and it went, and what was funny is the Spurs responded by doing a Hispanic Heritage Night the next night with like mariachi bands and stuff. And I was like, yes.
Oh my God. I mean, like, do you not know where you are? What in God's name, bro? That's nightmare fuel.
Shaq as a gummy. And it's $3. Look at it.
Oh my God. What is that?
It's
Shaq. It's Shaq 3PO.
It's Shaq has gummies. Keep your part. Save some for work, desk, or back. Looking for a great adventure.
Why is it that much money?
It's $4. It's not that much.
No, yeah, I can get gummies at my job for $2 or like $2.50.
Experience a burst of XL fruit flavor. Matter the occasion, from everyday moments to your Valentine's Day, Easter, Halloween, or Christmas celebration.
Okay,
never mind. I don't think these are the kind of gummies I thought they were.
Wait a minute. It's
no. Why did you think?
Wait. The funniest thing on here is like that it's SNAP eligible, because isn't SNAP like you can only buy like healthier options and stuff with that?
Apparently, these are considered healthy gummies.
I mean, this is America.
It says vegan. It says it's vegan.
That's why. I'm like, yeah, 'cause I saw Snap eligible, and I'm like, huh? I'm like, it's just gummies. It's basically candy. I don't know. That's intriguing to me. I need to wait. Where's that sold?
And probably at your store.
I will look on Friday.
You
I will look
definitely
on
have
Friday.
Shaq gummies at
Because
at your store.
I mean, listen, if they have it, I'll buy it. I haven't seen it, but if we have it, or if we
Wait.
don't-
Shaq owns and operates approximately 150 car washes nationwide.
yes, doesn't he also own like a few Papa Johns too?
And he owns.
More
He's
than a
like
few?
he's a Papa John's executive member.
Have you guys
Big
heard
Chick-
that
Big-
his story?
Big
Have you guys heard
Chicken
his
is
story
really
about
good.
going to Walmart?
Oh, of course, everyone's heard that story of him going to Walmart and spending his entire salary at Walmart.
And his and his card declines.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't know that he's a co-owner of the General. That's why he's
Mhm.
with the General. He is a co-owner of the General.
Everything that Shaq endorses, he has such a big stake in it. He basically is that company. Same thing with Icy High. Icy High was a thing before Shaq. Shaq has literally made it massive now. Same thing with Gold Bond and the whole shimmy that he does in the commercial and everything. Like, it's like on anything that Shaq is a part of, he becomes that brand. It's not Gold Bond anymore. It's Shaq Bond. It's not the General. It's the Shaq or the O'Neal. It's not Papa John's. It's Papa Shaq.
Well, yeah, because
So
the original Papa John's guy was this like
yeah,
racist.
something happened there. But
Excuse my language, but he was.
but everything with Shaq, it becomes his thing. Oh,
Jack of
wow.
dummies.
That's what I'm saying. I'm shocked that it's Snap eligible. That's insane. That's the wildest part of the gummies. Oh,
I don't know if that would be
Scoop
the
thought
case
it
if
was
they were the
something more
gummies. I don't know if
nefarious.
that would be the case if that was what the gummies I thought they were.
Shakalicious. Good God, man.
It's good. Okay, the background. You might be wondering about the background.
Yeah, I
too.
was gonna ask if you wanted to lead into that.
Yeah, Indy 500 this weekend, guys. We'll see if Alex Palou can continue his streak. He's been amazing in IndyCar so far this year. This race, it's gonna be an awesome race. This is gonna be a fun Indy 500. That's really all I got. We had a giant crash in qualifying where I think it was Palou that went to the hospital. And
Oh, no.
like he like complete. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he literally like his car went like this and like basically became a Rocket League. It was nuts because they held like the qualifying for the Indy 500 was like 2 weeks long for some reason. They like did like a bunch of these qualifying stages and it was so weird. It was just this really convoluted thing that lasted like 2 weeks. I don't know why.
Isn't this also like the big, speaking of racing just in general, isn't this also the Coca-Cola 500 or whatever it is this weekend?
Coca-Cola's this weekend too, yeah. Coca-Cola's this weekend. I think there's a woman doing the double this weekend, doing Indy and Coke.
Wow.
Which is gonna be, I believe, I have to look it up. I'll double check.
This is a big weekend for racing. So
yeah, so we have Indy. I don't know, is Coca-Cola this weekend or is it next weekend? I don't remember.
I could have sworn it was this one or next one. I don't remember.
I have to look.
They mentioned it tonight on the broadcast, on the Prime broadcast for the Yankees. K brought it up, but
yeah. So yeah, she's the here's the news report from NASCAR.com. Because this wasn't shared a lot across social media, which kind of pissed me off. But okay, I'm sorry that I'm using ad blocker NASCAR.com. It's fine. Catherine, I apologize. Leggett, I believe. I apologize. But the double. I think she's the first woman to ever attempt the double, the Indy and the Coca-Cola 600. And I believe she's with Tony Stewart's company. First woman to attempt it on the 24th. She's funded by one of the big cosmetic companies, HMD Motorsports. I don't remember what specifically it is. But I don't remember. I think it's Tony Stewart's company. Oh my god, I don't want to do videos here. That's all we're here for. But yeah. So I'm really excited to see her do the double. And then F1 is in Montreal this weekend on
All right.
Apple TV and Netflix, by the way. So they're doing a partnership this weekend. Say caffeinated, Patrick. Thank you for joining us. But yeah, so that's gonna be cool this weekend. It's supposed to rain in Montreal on Sunday, like pretty heavy downpour. So it's gonna be a very interesting race. But yeah, it's a huge weekend for racing. We'll see if Tottenham stays up this weekend as well.
Is this when we find that out finally?
Championship. They are, I think, 2 points above the relegation zone. So they have to win on Sunday. So that's gonna be nuts. If they lose, the world might as well be exploding, like the sports world.
Oh yeah.
So the sports world might explode, and there's Patrick with the too much blood in my caffeine system again. But yeah, the sports world might explode if Tottenham.
Can we make that the slogan for this show?
Well, we're not a coffee podcast, Scoop.
I know, it's just funny.
Or not a coffee podcast. If you want to talk about coffee for 2 hours, I gladly indulge you in that. But I don't know how entertaining that would be. Oh, this tastes. This has hints of. Oh God. Anyway, so yeah, it's gonna be a fun weekend for racing. The Women's Champions League finals this week.
Yeah, we didn't. I was gonna say we didn't touch hockey yet.
Oh yeah. Oh, and that reminds me, really quick. So Arsenal won the Premier League yesterday. What else is big this weekend? Anything else I'm missing this weekend?
I got a funny story about that because usually you know how there's not many soccer fans on this side of the pond as compared to overseas.
No.
So I went to the bar. What's up, Trev? I went to the bar on Monday. I don't drink, but I went to the bar to celebrate my coworker's graduation. She graduated from Seton Hall, oddly enough.
That's awesome.
Congratulations to her.
So there's one guy.
I wonder if I would have known them.
Yeah, I don't think so. But there's one guy at the bar, and only British guy in there. Big Arsenal fan, and of course,
lucky. You know what? That's enjoy. Arsenal's so boring.
So of course he's being the obnoxious guy at the bar, doing their fight song, because and when you go to bars overseas, they're all loud and they're all doing like the fight songs.
Oh, they're all just obnoxious as heck.
You can't do that here. This is America. We don't do that.
You can if you can. Okay, so you can if your team's playing like an NFL game.
Yeah, if you're around the crowd for it, yeah. But it's like he's the only soccer.
You ever been to a bar in Philly?
Well, yeah.
Well, that's exactly what I was gonna say. You know, the amount of Philly fans who said your name wrong. EAEELL Eagles at the bar every time you win a Super Bowl.
I mean, even their mayor did that.
Forget.
Well, that's my point. Your mayor, man.
Yeah, forget spelling out Eagles. Just call it E. Like, just do that instead.
The one thing, our fans are so crazy that they took this tabloids. Okay, they took this tabloid. Victor Gyökeres. Perfect. Got it. He, I believe he's Swedish. He's going to be playing at the World Cup. There was this tabloid story of him leaving his girlfriend for Arsenal, and it was like this huge thing among Arsenal fans. Like Victor Gyökeres left his girlfriend to score goals for the Gunners. Like I thought that it was just this huge thing. Felt like the first one of the season. They're called the Gunners because they're
much more fun name than the friggin' Magpies.
Because their logo is basically a giant musket. Is it a musket? It is a musket, I think. But yeah,
I was just comparing it in my head. I was just comparing it to the Magpies.
But that's like it's literally like that dude.
They're not. If you think American sports are nuts, we're not. Not even the half as nuts as as the UK is for soccer
British
football.
British sports fans are something else because it's like
They're crazy. Yeah.
Like first of all, I can't believe that there was a British, guy in an not even just in an American bar, in a bar in Jersey. We don't get British people here. This doesn't exist here.
Well. Okay, but you say that, and then in about a month's time, they're going to be flooding in your neck of the woods.
Don't remind me. Please don't do this to me. I don't want to be
Do
reminded
you
of that.
do you know do you know that speaking of the World Cup, did you know that sorry, I'm losing my train of thought because I'm trying to think of this story. So like scalpers took a lot of the tickets. Like I looked up tickets for Belgium and Egypt. I think it's the first game we're having at Lumen Field, and the 300 level worst possible ticket you can buy is $830. Which is insane. And so what's funny is hotels were expecting like this giant boom, like New York, for example, like New York, New Jersey area, because we're combining them.
They will be because the freaking hotel right across the highway from MetLife, that place is gonna be swarmed of people.
Well,
Guaranteed.
I hate to
That's
break
gonna
the
be
news.
fun.
I hate to break the news to you. Hotels across the New York area, Philly and Seattle, are calling the World Cup a non-event because they can't sell hotel. They can't sell hotels.
Yeah, in New York City. But
In Seattle, they can't. In Philly, they can't. All the hotels that basically said it's a non-event because, and here's what I think happened. Scalpers bought up a ton of the tickets, are selling them for exorbitant prices, and nobody's budging because we're not stupid.
Also not for nothing, but for the people that are coming here and need places to stay, there's literally especially here, especially in Jersey, especially obviously which is where the World Cup final is going to be. I know like at least about 10 to 20 people just in like friends of friends, just my inner circle. They're like, yeah, I'm thinking about renting my house out to these foreigners so that way I can make money off all of them.
That's another thing too. The U.S. Open, so the U.S. Open golf tournament is coming to the Hamptons next month around the World Cup time, and these idiots were selling their estates like for the 2-week rentals for $100K, and people said no.
That is exactly what is happening outside my house right now. That's exactly what's happening. People
Outside your house is crazy.
But what I'm saying is like these Hamptons people thought, oh yeah, we can rent it out, and it's so flooded, no one's paying $100K for it because
yeah, I mean,
the market's flooded with crap.
Brandon, you know how it works. Nobody's going there. It's too crowded.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I don't. I'd be okay. Like, oh God. The other thing that bugs the living like heck out of me here locally. So here in Seattle, they announced our trying to think of it. Our fan zone is on the water. It's a giant ass boat for some reason with like screens and like
I'd be out already. I hate boats.
You know what Seattle's famous for, right? Rain. I don't care if it's June. It's probably gonna rain for like a couple of the days. It will probably rain for like a couple of those games.
Oh,
and then the other thing I was gonna say is Iran, is playing here. Still, they like come to an agreement to have them play in Seattle in the U.S. area. They're playing the Pride game, and I don't know how that's gonna work. So, notwithstanding a political conversation that we do not need to have on this show, I'm just saying that's questionable decision making for. And by the way, it was before it was scheduled, like before the groups, and it was like Iran's playing in our Pride game. I don't even want to approach that with any sort of. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there that that's what's happening. And
you know what's so scary about obviously being a Portugal fan, but also being part Portuguese. Like that's my that's my national team. Like it's like they just assume that when you watch Portugal that you're a Ronaldo fan. Like, there's so
I mean,
many
you
people.
are.
I mean, yeah, but that's not the reason why I root for Portugal. Like Ronaldo, God forbid, could literally break his ankle and not play the World Cup. I'm not gonna not watch because Ronaldo's not there. It's Portugal.
I mean,
I'm going to watch.
we've always made the argument that Portugal's better when Ronaldo's not uniform.
Because they are. Like I don't have like so many people. Like listen, man. I love Portuguese
This is getting
culture.
too funny.
I love Portuguese culture and I love Portuguese people, obviously. But at the same time, just like I see Portuguese people in the comments, they're supposed to know more soccer than we do in America. They're like, we're screwed if Ronaldo doesn't play. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Did you not watch the Euros
for
2 years ago? And the other thing is Fox is like putting out all the stops for this World Cup. And it's getting, and I love Fox. I think their coverage, while it isn't the greatest thing in the world, they're bringing on some really good talent this year. Like Rebecca Lowe is going to be on there, which I mean, come on, if you're a soccer fan and don't love Rebecca, then you're not a soccer fan. Let's just be honest. But so they're bringing in like a lot of really good people, a lot of really good analysts. So Fox is taking this really seriously because they're expecting people to watch it because it's our time zones. Or earlier, but mostly our time zones. So a lot of the games are going to be on regular Fox, or at least a majority of them. I think over 75, 80%. Half of these group stage games are not interesting at all.
Yeah.
They're so like some of these are really most of these games on any normal like international friendly week, you would never watch these two teams play. Like you would never, as much as I respect the Tunisian Soccer Federation for getting to the World Cup, I don't care about watching Tunisia. I don't care. Like there's what's the one match that I apologize. I need to look this up. There's one match that made me go nuts.
The one I told you like yesterday, like we played Colombia, but why the hell is that the third game in our group stage?
Why is it the last game of the group stage that's going to matter?
You probably don't need to win.
And Colombia probably won't need to win it either. You guys can probably draw and be fine.
Oh my god!
I was
gonna look so the ball for 90 minutes. Like
so I think the opener is Mexico, South Africa, which there's history behind that. So I understand why they're doing it. We're playing. I don't even think the U.S. is getting out of our group, and I'm not going to do the U.S. I have a whole U.S. rant prepared, but I'll do that in about a month. Or like in a couple weeks before the World Cup.
When's the actual first day of it all, by the way?
June 13th. No, June 11th. So we're getting close.
Okay, so about 3 weeks.
So I will do my US rant on June 11th. I will do it on the day. Here's a matchup that's gonna tickle your fancy. Haiti versus Scotland. Do we care? How about this? On Fox, the first game on Sunday. So the first weekend of the World Cup. The first game is Germany versus Curacao. Do you care? They're going to get smoked like 7-0. And it's like, oh yeah, this is the first game on Fox.
That's like you mentioned like Beirut again, or not Beirut, sorry, Belgium against Egypt. And I'm like, my God, like imagine somebody putting money down on Egypt to win. You're throwing money away. I hope you know that.
Well, I mean, Egypt is better than people think. Sweden, Tunisia, don't care. Spain versus Cape Verde is the first match on Monday, June 15th. Does anybody care?
You know what's funny is I've just noticed this, and like it feels like in recent years, like all those kind of like African-ish countries like that qualify, like Cape Verde always ends up getting like Portugal, Spain, France. I'm like, yeah, they keep getting their ass kicked by one of us.
Well, guess what? Your first match for Portugal is the morning game on that Wednesday. Well, Wednesday,
I saw it.
It's against what, Congo? You're gonna smack Congo like 13-0. If you lose to Congo, you're gonna have a meltdown on this show.
Well, you know what it is? Like I know how Portugal plays. we're not gonna beat them like 13-0. We're gonna beat them like 3-0, even though we should have beat them by a lot more. Just because we're not gonna try that hard. We're just gonna beat them 3-0 and say, you know what, that's good enough. Next game, come on.
I don't know, Egypt's gonna be better than people think. Like I'm not this necessarily dissing that Egypt game, but like
They're not beating
or
Belgium.
like the first.
I mean,
But it's like it's not Belgium. Like
but listen.
again, I have a
Belgium
USA rant prepared. We're gonna save that. Also, that's the other thing I was gonna say. Fox is having this giant party at Central Park for the USA roster reveal next week.
Oh,
And
wow.
I genuinely asked the question, why is a team that's barely going to get out of the group stage worth a giant 4-hour party? I just asking. Just asking. I don't understand. Like, and by the way, there was this guy. There was this. Okay, I'm gonna trash some random human right now. So give me like 3 minutes. There was this guy on social media. It's not just one dude. Okay, there are multiple people over the course of the last week before the USA rosters got revealed that has made what they think is a quote unquote significant case that the USA can win the World Cup. And I'm like, how blind do you have to be? Like, oh yeah, we can't beat Portugal's B team. We can't beat Belgium's B team. Yeah, you think you can win the World Cup? Are you kidding me?
Half of basically all the big teams, like half of our teams could go down with injuries and it would still beat the US like 3-0.
5-0. Screw 3-0. And that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like our group. This is like my big thing with the US right now is I don't even think we can get out of the group. I'm really scared that we won't because Paraguay is always a challenge for us. They always are. They always are just exhausting to play for no reason whatsoever. And again, I'm going to get into the reasons why this team sucks in about a week when they actually reveal the roster. And I'm going to be like, yeah, this roster is the point. Not to mention that a quarter of our roster, if not half, is coming from MLS clubs. I don't know if you watched MLS the last 2 months, but it's probably one of the worst products out there in major.
Isn't that usually the case for the MLS kind of?
Yeah, but it's probably worse than it's ever been. I think, and I went to an MLS game this year, and it's not really that good in terms of quality. Like, hold on, let me just really quickly pull up our groups here.
And the thing is that people think that those guys are going to go up
are going to win a World Cup. Barely,
are going to go
really.
Are
going to go up against France and Portugal. Go up against Mbappe and think you can beat him. Get the hell out of here.
Mbappe, Lamine Yamal, Ronaldo, Messi. Yeah, okay, bro.
Yeah. You think Messi's playing for the US? That's how blind you are watching the MLS. So like Paraguay's always tough. Australia ain't a pushover. Turkey's not a pushover. You could make an argument that Turkey's better than us right now.
Yeah.
There's a world where we can't. There's a world where this easy group we could end up being last. That's how bad we've played over the last 2 years. Like,
well, you know what it is.
What do you want me to say?
It's that blind U.S. pride. But here's the thing: is like the U.S. in hockey is a force. The U.S. in baseball is a force. The U.S. in women's hockey. We still made the damn final for the
fine.
For the World Baseball Tournament. But like
the U.S. women's soccer force.
Exactly. Like those are forces. Like nobody, including nobody's mother, is scared of the U.S. men's national team for soccer. Nobody is scared of that.
This is what pisses me off about. And I get it. You don't have time to watch every single thing. I'm a diehard U.S. men's national team guy, and it has brought me more pain than the Vancouver Canucks. And that's saying something. Like,
with you.
They piss me off, and I'll explain more why next week when they reveal the roster. I'm just gonna tease that. But I'm just your blind faith is Weston McKennie who's solid enough at Juve, but like, okay. And Christian Pulisic, who you think is the best player in soccer, and he's what, maybe 25th in the world right now, maybe
I mean,
30th.
not,
If you want to be
not,
reasonable, he's probably worse than that.
and not
I'm
even
probably
that.
bumping him up.
It's not even
Like,
that.
what?
It's not even that, Rob. When you think about like all the Captain Americas, because he's got that moniker too. It's like of all the Captain Americas there's ever been, like you know what him and Austin Matthews have in common? Choke. So like,
Well, he's. I'll just like I don't have stamina for this. They piss me off. Okay, it's that simple. They piss me off, and I'm the one who sits there on a weekend basis and watches them play freaking Curacao in a Gold Cup on a random Tuesday in June. I'm the one who does that, and these people who say we can win the World Cup don't have to sit there through a 1-1 draw against Curacao in the middle of June on a random summer day. Get out of here.
It's all the casuals. It's all the casuals because soccer is not a U.S. sport. It's just not.
And
So
I'm not saying I watch every single USA match, but if we play a Gold Cup, if we play a CONCACAF Champions Cup situation, and I'm gonna watch it. These people who are going to win the World Cup don't know what's coming for them. They don't know.
I've sat through with you for a lot of U.S. men's games, and I've really I would rather watch paint dry than watch you guys.
I rip my hair out watching it. It's like you watching the Eagles, except it's 100 times worse because it's an actual country. It's actually atrocious.
But you know what it is? Like at least the Eagles care enough to win games when they matter. like the U.S. I can't remember the last really big game the U.S. has won.
2002. 2002 made the quarters. That's it. And again, that should be the expectation here. And I'm sitting here going, I have, after the game against Belgium and after the game against Belgium and Portugal, I have no faith that they can even get out of the group. I have no faith. And and these people on Fox Sports, these people on, and they're great. They know what they're doing. They watch more games than I do, but they're just using it as a tool. They don't actually think that they're going to make it far. Like, no one thinks that. I'm sorry.
Where's Alexi Lawless when you need him?
Well, Alexi also understands the issues, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But Alexi,
smart
yeah.
Yeah.
So is everyone on that. I'm sorry, everybody on that panel. After that first game, you watch. That first game is going to be torture. Okay, we are going to live through pain. That first game. Just watch the halftime of that Fox booth at halftime. They're going to be dead. And what do we do? Fox executives are going to be throwing papers around and screaming when we're drawing 1-1 the first game. I promise you. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Like I said, it's not just the fact that the U.S. isn't good. I mean, that's obviously no problem. But like, it's like you guys aren't it's one thing to not be good, but at least be exciting. You guys aren't even exciting to watch. It's the most boring soccer I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, fine. I'll do it right now. I'm sorry, Scoop. This is like my biggest pet peeve in the whole wide world. The U.S. Soccer Federation is run by nitwits. They're run by idiots. I'm sorry. They've been run by idiots for 20 years. As long as I've lived, as long as I've followed this country's soccer programming, they have been awful. I could do a better job. I know I can. Put me in that role tomorrow. I will change U.S. soccer in 10 years. I promise you. Because
not even.
Number one,
less.
Less. I'll say 10. I'll be reasonable. Here's why. One, everyone blames the manager. Excuse my language. Everyone blames, it's late enough. Everyone blames the fucking manager for their problems. When this roster sucks, this roster is composed of MLS starters, a couple guys that are somewhat okay in Europe, other than Pulisic, and Weston McKennie, it's not composed of any natural talent whatsoever. So every manager is like, well, if we attack, we're going to lose 6-0. So there's no motion offensively. There's no motion in the attacking third ever with this team. There hasn't been motion in the attacking third since 2010. I would argue. I genuinely think since 2010 this team cannot attack. And so, and again, and Landon's talked about this. Tim Howard has talked about this. Alexi Lawless has talked about this exact thing.
You should be listening to if you're in
The
America.
guys you should be listening to. They've all said, the biggest problem with American soccer is the youth system. The youth system is broken. The youth system is terrible. In Europe, you can pick up a soccer ball, go to your local yard, and kick it around. In America, if you want to do that, pay $600 up front, please. That's what it is. There's no incentive for these parents, for these kids to play soccer when the upfront cost to play any like semi-pro as a kid, professional ball, to get up even the MLS academy system, your upfront cost is $600. I remember I tried out for I thought I was better than I was. I'm not very good. I tried out for one of our local team, like our big local team here, local area. My mom told me that if I made the team, they would have to pay in a single calendar year. I'm talking travel, equipment, parents. This is coming out of pockets. It's about $1,500 to $2,000 for what? 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
I mean, are like, and these kids are just like sitting there being like, they're not, and then it ruins the joy of them for the game, because these coaches, all they care about is the money. You're ruining the joy of actually playing the sport.
Well, baseball's got that issue too. I mean, not to change the subject, but baseball.
No, I think baseball is fair. Yeah. I think soccer is much worse because baseball at least is still competitive in America. But baseball is this exact issue.
But it was funny, like you were saying, like travel ball for baseball is expensive. Travel ball is not cheap. So like travel ball, like, you know, when you think about like a lot of the best players in the MLB right now, they're not American. Like, yeah, Aaron Judge, whatever, or Bobby Witt, but Ohtani, Tatis, Vlad, like the list goes on. Like there's so many. They're like Dominican, Puerto Rican, Japanese. Like there's so many better players who aren't American, and it's like because over there they don't have the same kind of cost that it is to play.
Right, but that's my exact point. Okay, your family, excuse me, Brandon, is Portuguese heritage. Mine is Romanian and Hungarian. Our first sport, whether we like to admit it or not, is a soccer ball. That's what we get given as kids, not an American football. That's what we get given as kids. Here's a tiny soccer ball. Go kick it out in the yard. Why? And I understand that we have all these other great popular sports, but we want to make kids just give them a soccer ball and say, go play and go have fun. Yeah. And we need to do that. And then on the Rich Eisen show about a month ago, they were promoting the World Cup, and Landon Donovan was promoting his new book, which, by the way, his book is amazing. It talks about mental health and stuff. I haven't gotten a chance to read it yet. I'm going to. He was talking about how when they, a few years back, do you guys, I think it was, remember that Bucks Seahawks game in Germany at Bayern Munich Stadium? I think it was 3-4 years ago. I don't know if you guys remember. It was a great game from my recollection, but it was like 3-4 years ago. Anyway, Rich Eisen obviously does a lot of that work for NFL Network, the international slate. So the Seahawks were practicing at FC Bayern's facilities, and Bucks were practicing in the youth facility. And Rich Eisen went, the Bayern youth facility is better than their actual facility, which, by the way, that thing, when you're looking at these major clubs, their youth facility is better. And part of it too, and Landon was saying with his upbringing at some of the English clubs, he was talking about how in some of the English clubs, or most of them, a lot of the I'm using like European terms here. Most of those football coaches or soccer coaches don't care about being brought up to the senior team because they get paid millions of dollars to be the youth coach. And their whole thing is, we want to have a strong developmental structure. College right now doesn't have that infrastructure. Right now, if you are not in an MLS academy system at 14, 15 years old, you're not going to make it. If you go to college, you're lucky if you're going to play ball in Australia. Lucky. And so if you're going to preach academy systems, which is what it should be, MLS academy is really important. If you're going to preach that, then give us the facilities and the coaches to do that. And it starts with Don Garber too. Don Garber has a terrible job with the MLS product. An awful job. Because his framework was the Roger Goodell framework, because he was the deputy commissioner for the NFL for decades, I think like first 4 to 6 years of Roger Goodell's tenure. He goes to the MLS, and the person who told him, hey, you need youth facilities, was David Beckham. Why does a player need to tell you this? You should just create the youth facilities. Why are we expanding Major League Soccer to 30 teams? We can't even handle depth of 15 of them. Why do we need more teams? It makes no sense. Why are we doing more teams if Vancouver, a place that's extremely passionate about soccer, that Vancouver Whitecaps is about to freaking go to Vegas because Vegas has more money. Guess what? I know there's passionate fans in Vegas for soccer, but it's not like Vancouver, BC. It's not even close. You're just ripping that away from them. You're putting games on a Sunday night on Apple TV. You're putting games on a Sunday night when there's other sports on. You're not promoting the product at all. The product is in tatters because the development is awful. And you're gatekeeping it. You're gatekeeping it behind an Apple TV paywall when the USL is on free TV, which is technically the second tier league, but it's not. It's its own league. The USL is always on TV. The MLS, you're lucky if you get 3 games on Fox in a week. It's unbelievable. Like the MLS is the MLS has been around for, I think now it's about, I understand it's still really young, but it hasn't developed at all. I remember telling you, Brandon, years ago in watching MLS games, like 3 years ago, we watched the Sounders game, as I'm a big Sounders fan. And it was the Western Conference final, and I audibly told you, this product hasn't changed to 2012. It's the same quality of football. And that is awful. When the majority of your pull for American soccer comes from Major League Soccer, then you need better development. The Messis matter. It helps grow the league. But what happens to the bottom tier? Why do we need a salary Major League Soccer? Why can't we? And it's a good step that we're going to the European calendar. That's great. We should have done that 10 years ago. Like, the MLS is in tatters. The U.S. Soccer Federation has been in federal court for decades with pay disparity on the women's side, awful practices, and nobody gives a damn because it's soccer. And it's ridiculous. You need someone to step in and say, I don't care. I'm going to talk to Don Garber. I'm going to talk to Major League Soccer. I'm going to talk to these youth programs across the country, and I'm going to change this entire thing. And it starts with just giving a kid a ball and getting him passionate about soccer. It doesn't matter how the kid is at age 5 or 6 or 7. Just give the kid a damn ball, and we've lost that. And that's why this team since that quarterfinal in 2002 has suffered. It's so simple, and it could be changed in 5 years with the right leadership, and we have none. We have leadership that's too focused on the top dollar versus actually developing soccer. It's unbelievable. It is disgusting. It is despicable, and we're getting lapped by everyone else in the world for no reason whatsoever other than our own greed and legal system and money. It's honestly the ultimate, like in America, for how much greed and corruption you don't see. Soccer has been in plain sight for 10 years in America. It's been in plain sight for 10 years and nobody cares. And it's not, and it goes to the women's game too. The pay disparity with the women's game was awful. It needed to change, and it did. But it took 10 years, it took 5 years of a court battle. Was that ever necessary when the women's team was miles better than the men's for all of those years? No. It's unbelievable. It's unfathomable what has happened to soccer in this country. And I'm never gonna, in this World Cup, it's going to be people's breaking points, which is stupid because every time we don't make a World Cup, every time we don't make a round of 16, every time we lose in a round of 16, we just blame the flipping manager when the entire roster makes no sense and does nothing. Why are we blaming the manager every freaking World Cup? Be more aggressive. Guess what? You don't give me the players to be more aggressive down the field. I have only 2 of them that play consistent minutes in high-tier Europe. 2 out of a 23-man roster, 26-man roster. 2 play consistent minutes in high-quality European competition. That's despicable. It's despicable and disgusting. That's what I have to say. There you go.
It's crazy.
I had to give it. It's just I would have done it next week, but since you brought it up, there you go. It's despicable.
Like when I'm thinking about certain managers and whatnot, and honestly, I think Portugal themselves, getting away from U.S. soccer, Portugal themselves in a better spot, now than we were under Fernando Santos. But it's under Fernando Santos, it was why, we have guys like Bruno Fernandes. We have, what we had, the whole, the core
your golden
group of
generation.
guys.
This is like your last era for your golden generation. Is this World Cup?
That's what's pissing me off. Is you've got, you had for years. You had Ricardo Quaresma. You had Bruno Fernandes. You had a bunch of different guys like Bernardo Silva, who's still there. You had all these guys on top of Ronaldo. But why was the game plan with all these super talented guys who have been great for their clubs and good for their country? Why is the game plan, always the same? And then where it's, talk about U.S. having the same game plan day in, day out.
But it's not just that. You have a man. I apologize for interrupting. You have a manager. This is the best manager we've ever had. It's Mauricio Pochettino. A guy who's been a legend in the club scene for what? Feels like longer than we've been alive. I could be wrong.
Yeah, 20, 25 years, something like that.
5 years plus. You're giving him this crop to do what? What is he going to do? What can he do tactically? He can't do anything. What do you expect him to do? I don't understand. What do you expect him to do with MLS talent? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. And it's you're honestly you're frustrated by that. I'm frustrated by Portugal having all that talent and the game plans funnel the ball to Ronaldo.
Yeah, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. It's completely the opposite.
If it's frustrating for you on that side because it's the lack of talent. For me, it's the embarrassment of riches of talent. And we're just saying, hey, feed the arguably the greatest soccer player ever. Instead of we have 11 guys who are all stars for their clubs, and they all can literally score from any point on the damn pitch. But we're gonna say no. Funnel the ball to Ronaldo. We get on a breakaway. There's a 3-on-1 happening, and Ronaldo's right there on the end. The one guy is gravitating towards Ronaldo. You can see him slowly starting to mark Ronaldo as we're going down the field, and we're still passing the ball to Ronaldo.
But that was the thing that pissed you off in the Euros was when Ronaldo wasn't on the pitch. They played better. It was so funny.
Because when
he said that a few minutes ago.
But that's exactly my point. The point that Brandon's making is, and this is why I'm a little bit concerned about Portugal when they announced their roster, because Ronaldo's the cover, and they have,
I don't like our roster this year.
That roster is disgusting. I mean, it's so good. What? You don't like the roster?
I kind of don't like it. Just you know why? Because this is the first year where it's names outside of the bigger guys. It's names that I don't recognize from previous years. And I'm like, I hope that these newer guys
because these guys are new, because it's a new crop coming in. Like it's a new crop coming in.
I hope that they're as advertised, because I saw a lot of people like in the Portuguese comments. Like, obviously I have to hit translate because I don't speak Portuguese, but still, like, I had to hit translate and be like, okay, let me read these comments, and it's like they're like, oh yeah, I believe in a lot of these young guys. I'm like, okay, that gives me hope, but I'm like, I need to see it, because I'm like, I'm used to Nani, Quaresma, the Silva. Well, really,
right. But that's part of it. That's part of it for me with Portugal. And this is something that Italy has missed sorely because of their style of play, which is very similar to Arsenal's. I guess we'll get to that next week for Champions League preview. But it's that when you have young talent, use their pace. Like, don't back them up. Like, it's I don't like.
Why do you think when we played against Spain, what was that, for the UEFA Nations thing?
Yeah.
Why
you were backing up so much?
Yeah. Why do you think when Rafael Leao entered the game, Portugal got better? Because all he did was fly up and down the pitch when he got the ball. I'm like, thank you. We have somebody with pace. This is phenomenal. Like Ronaldo's sitting there, crying about not getting the ball. I don't care, old man. The future is now. The future is now. Enough with this.
Yeah. So and then who's to, and that's part of it, is they say he's healthy. I don't know if Ronaldo is going to be healthy in a month.
I don't think he's healthy.
I don't think he's healthy. I think they're saying he's healthy.
He is. He did finish the season, I think, pretty well over in the Saudis. No, like,
I mean, they sucked as a team. He was like their only good player, but
because he's sitting there just scoring freaking tack-on goals for a bunch of guys who have to go to work.
They lost the final game. They lost like 1-0.
Yeah.
So like they're not. But I don't know how healthy he is, and that's like my biggest concern with him.
The last few times I saw him, though, he was still scoring goals at a pretty good level. Like the last time,
and then like,
saw that.
Also, I cannot believe, particularly Middle East and Europe has such a fascinating like injury report history. It's been the NFL, because it's just like what's your comment on injury? And it's not the head coach, it's just the flipping surgeon. Just the guy who does his surgery is like, yeah, he's good. Okay, I guess. Like, sure, you're the guy who cut his body open, I guess. I just wish we had that more. Like imagine like a guy get, like, God forbid, next season tears his ACL, and the first report you hear is the guy who did his surgery. That would be so much better than the head coach going, I don't know, it sounded okay.
It's like to me, it's like I just want more honest. Well, not even honest. I just want funnier injury reports going forward.
Oh
yeah, it needs to be funny. It needs to be like the Yankees estimated pay. What?
Well, no, like what I need to see is like last year when we saw it was last year, the year before, when we saw concussed Jalen Hurts go to the ref and go like this.
Like, bro, no, it's like this.
Concussed. You are not healthy. The ref looked at him like this. Like, yeah, we know he's concussed, but
okay. Did you guys okay, speaking of the NFL, before we go, I had an NFL topic for you guys that made me blow a gasket today.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
And I wanted to talk about it.
I'm afraid.
So usually when quarterbacks preseason or like even in midseason, Matthew Stafford did this the year the Rams won the Super Bowl. That when they're like really confident in their roster, they go out in the mic and say, like Jalen, I think did this, that I think it was your second Super Bowl or first one. I think it was the second one. He was like, oh yeah, this is a roster that can win. It's just kind of up to me to do that. And So you might think to yourself, oh, it's just May, it's just June. Who cares about these quarterback comments? No, if a quarterback says, we can win with this roster, we can get to the mountaintop, you listen. Oh God, Joe Burrow said today
Oh, that's
OTAs.
not where I thought you were going with this.
Joe Burrow said, and I quote something along those lines. He said, "This is the best roster I've ever had as a Cincinnati Bengal." The 2026 Cincinnati Bengals is, he said this today on mic, he said, the best roster I've ever had. And I'm questioning
too many times behind that lack of offensive
and
line.
I was asking Shane, I messaged Shane, and he was like, and my reaction was that same thing, but also better than your Super Bowl losing roster, which had talent everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about? Like a team that, and by the way, if he says, I think our offense is the best in the NFL, okay, I can believe him. Because that offense, even going into this year, I think is going to be nasty. But defensively, special teams, what do you say? And again, the reason why this is important, before I let you guys go on this, the reason why this is important is quarterbacks only say this unless they're absolutely sure they can make a Super Bowl. And most of the time, they get fairly close. So you're putting expectation on yourself by saying this. This isn't a throwaway thing. If a quarterback says this in May, it means something.
Especially a high-profile one like Burrow.
I will say, to be fair though, he said this roster. He did not include himself, or he didn't say himself, because he knows that damn well by week 8 he's done.
The first comment I saw on the Twitter post, well, he's lucky if he gets to week 7. I was like, unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, but well, you know what it is. You know why he's also saying this too. Didn't this offseason, didn't he get the whole Anakin Skywalker haircut?
Oh my God, we're gonna talk about his haircuts again. He always changes his haircuts every 4 times during the regular season.
But I'm saying, isn't this the offseason?
It's like Scoop getting a haircut today. It's like, oh yeah, let me get a haircut. By the way, it does look good. It does look good.
Thank you. And my cousin's getting married, and that's why I got it.
Yes.
But you know what it is though? It's like he gets the Anakin look. So he's saying that because he's gonna use some black Sith magic to get that roster there.
To like
That's
14.
When you said something was going to make you blow a gasket, I really thought you were going to talk about Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, Jacoby not being there because of like family issues. That's not going to make me upset. It's OTAs.
Family issues?
No,
he's holding out for a new contract, dude.
Yeah, what he wants.
Oh, I thought it was family. He's holding out for a new contract. Okay, no, it makes sense. I know why. That doesn't piss me off. I get it. Yeah. Are you serious? Yeah, his agent's trying to cash in for an extra $5 million. It makes sense. It's May. Makes sense. It's Jacoby Brissett. He's been undervalued. He's been underpaid for like his entire career. Yeah, and that's saying something.
He's not worth what he's looking for.
No, he's not.
I'm not saying that he is or isn't. I heard family issues. I apologize. No, but I get it. I mean, again, that's the thing, guys. It's OTAs. It's May. Like, like that does, if he's looking,
I know, but it's just so funny to me that it's just so funny to me that the Cardinals moved off Kyler Murray to bring in Jacoby Brissett, who's doing almost the exact same thing.
Well, it's not. Well, $5 million isn't 100, or $5 million isn't 100.
Well, we'll see what we'll see what the number is. I mean, there's no way to know that it's only going to be 5 or 10 million.
Wait, question: didn't Jacoby just sign there? Or no, he was there last year. That's why.
No, he was there last year.
I'm tripping.
Yeah,
he was there last year. That's fine. I still think Gardner's going to start for them. At least for the first 5 or 6 weeks.
Good God, man.
When do we think we see Carson Beck?
I hope not.
I said when do we think we see him?
Year 3.
That's the thing. Yeah,
okay.
I hope I don't see him this year. He's not ready.
You know what?
And again, I don't even think. So the preseason schedule came out. I don't even. Is it bad that I don't care about his preseason either? I don't care about these guys' preseason. I don't care.
No, I don't either.
I don't care. I really do not care.
I
I do care a little bit. Like if you're a first round pick and you show some promise, like if Carson Beck shows some promise in preseason, great. It's preseason's not indicative 90% of the time. How many times in the last 10 years has the preseason been indicative of success? So Russell Wilson in 2012 was a great example because when he started, I mean, he just blew Matt Flynn out of the water that year. And we thought Matt Flynn, keep in mind, you could laugh at Matt Flynn if you want, but Matt Flynn got that contract for a reason. Like, yeah, it was two really good games, but it was against some solid enough defenses and stuff. That's like the only one I can remember. Jalen, I think, had some really solid preseasons before he started. I thought, his preseasons were pretty good.
With him, it wasn't because he was throwing the ball well. I mean, he did complete some.
It was more the running aspect of it that we were looking for anyway at that point.
Yeah.
Tyler Huntley, you can
Especially
laugh at that now.
Because of that. Sorry.
No, Tyler Huntley, you can laugh at it now, but his development was done with preseason.
But what I was going to say about Hurts is that the other thing about Hurts with the mobility was that at that point, Carson Wentz had stopped
running all together.
Yeah.
Trying to remember what else. I mean, the top running backs always have fun preseasons.
Can I mention a football thing that happened today real quick that I wanted to mention?
The Rashid Rice thing? We want to get into this? Oh, you don't want to get into that? Did you guys talk about that?
Well, it's not that I don't want to get into it, but that's not what I was referring to.
What? What do you got?
So we predicted this a few months ago, or at least we talked about it being a significant chance that it would happen in college football. LSU is bringing Coach O back on the staff.
Oh yeah, but in what is essentially excuse me, what is essentially an advisory role,
like a defense. I think they call it like a defensive senior assistant or something.
Nobody cares. That's the NFL. That's the NFL in college. If you're like a quality assistant, nobody cares. You just have the job just because you're famous. It doesn't matter.
Because didn't we do that same thing when we were struggling in 2023 between Desai and Patricia? They brought in Fangio as the assistant.
Yeah, they brought in Fangio as a quality assistant. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like quality assistant.
And look what Fangio is now. So
yeah, but again, like it's not a big deal. The Rashid Rice thing. So there's a couple aspects to it. He didn't read his plea agreement. A lot of it's his lawyer's fault. His lawyer messed him up. Not what happened. Okay, it's bettery. It's awful. I'm not talking about that aspect because what he did was awful. I mean, if you saw the pictures, it was awful. But basically, I actually put up the reason he's in jail a lot to his lawyers. Not reading that he can't have weed and not telling him because I honestly think that they just didn't tell him. I can't believe that somebody didn't tell him. And I think that's literally what happened. I think somebody because he got surgery 2 weeks ago. He's in jail right now with a surgically repaired leg. If he had known that weed was going to cause him to ruin his probation, he definitely wouldn't have gone to surgery. Yeah. So I put this down to some kind of miscommunication thing, because I don't think someone's naive enough in a plea agreement or a probation agreement or house arrest agreement to not know what's in what you can't have. Because in a lot of ways in a lot of places you cannot have weed if you're under probation or house arrest. You just can't.
Right.
So I'm questioning if someone just didn't tell him.
Well,
I know he's not a great person. I'm not defending that. I'm just defending that. How do you not know?
And that's what I'm thinking is are we really gonna rely on the mental acuity of somebody who's already put himself in that position?
Well, yeah, but again, I'm just confused how it even happened. That's my confusion. because like I'm not dismissing what he did. That would be disgusting if I did. I'm not dismissing I'm not like that stuff happened and
No, I know.
and rightfully so. But what I'm saying is like that one piece, like people online are like, haha, he messed up. Yeah, he did. But somebody in his circle messed up because there's no way that you just don't know that you can't have weed when you're under. That to me is asinine. Not that that's fine that he can't have weed, but the fact that nobody told him or like something got lost in translation there. I'm positive. Because again, there's no way he would have gotten surgery like a week ago if he knew he was going to be in jail or knew a potential that he was going to be in jail. There's no way. There's no way. Something with his legal team, something went wrong. I'm not trying to excuse him, but there's no way that he just didn't know, which is nuts. Somebody didn't tell him. Somebody didn't tell him, and I think that's crazy.
And apparently, speaking of things that players don't know, Georgia players apparently don't know you can't speed.
Yeah, I was wondering if we were going to get to
Is
that.
there another Georgia speed thing?
Nolan,
How many of those do we have a year?
Nolan
Yeah.
Smith, the Eagles linebacker.
Oh, Nolan. Is that official? Because I only heard tabloids
Yes.
on it. That's official news?
Yeah, it's official.
Yes.
You got arrested for speeding. Yep. I thought he was supposed to be one of the good ones. He was supposed.
I don't think anybody on your roster is a good one.
No, Jordan Davis.
Are you sure? You
Yes.
spit on somebody.
No, that was Jalen Carter.
I always mess both of them up. I apologize.
That's
I honestly think an entire roster that accepted a vibes bunny. I don't expect them to be very
but like
structurally sound.
But it was like the character of Nolan Smith. I don't remember him ever being in question, and now it's like, oh my god, like you're continuing the trend of Georgia players or former Georgia players speeding.
I have
Like, bro.
I have to wonder if, because keep in mind they just accepted his option. I have to wonder if there's some sort of recourse for the guaranteed money on that one.
I was shocked.
I have no idea. I would have to deep dive into that. They don't. I wish I could read an NFL player's contract. Can someone give me like a copy of their old contract? Like I know that like Patrick Mahomes like can't play basketball or whatever.
Oh yeah, certain players are the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's because his kneecap.
That was in Aaron Boone's contract in 2003.
Yeah.
Well, it's a huge thing with Patrick Mahomes is his kneecap isn't fully on, right?
Yeah.
It's like off kilter a little bit, so he needs to be careful of.
Well, yeah, anything with your knees, you don't like especially basketball, you have to jump 10,000 times a game. So like, you don't want to be doing that. But like,
I don't. If you guys want to see something that's, I don't know how to phrase this. It was one of the grossest things I've ever seen, but it's still something I can't stop watching.
Is it Kevin?
Watch Patrick Mahomes' kneecap get twisted. His entire kneecap goes onto like where your hamstrings are. That's where his kneecap was, pretty much. Like it was really freaky, and it was like a Thursday night game too. And he came back in. I think didn't he come back in like in the fourth quarter or something, or did he try to come back in? I think he tried to come back in.
Like a play or two, and then he couldn't do it.
Yeah,
like
because they had to snap his kneecap back on. It was freaking weird, man.
Kevin Ware gave me nightmares.
Well, like you gotta think about it this way.
Kevin Ware is a legend for coming back and playing. I think
exactly.
He played pro ball for a little bit too.
I think it was overseas though.
It was overseas, but
Kevin Ware is still the scariest one because it's like that one has been shown a billion times. So it's like that, and the thing is, I remember where
they have stopped showing that highlight, and I'm really thankful they've stopped showing it.
You can still find it.
You guys can still find it, but it's like it's hard to just. You don't scroll on Instagram and it shows up anymore. Thank God.
It's on YouTube.
You know what did? You know what did for a while? Brandon, I don't remember who it was, but Brandon, you remember that guy in the Seton Hall game last year?
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
that was showing up every day on my feed for 2 weeks, and I couldn't go back on the app and keep scrolling because I was like, I cannot look at that again.
Scoop, how are you not to be weird, but why do you struggle with blood? Like, I want to know
Excuse
from
me?
why do you struggle like you're like how, like, I don't know how to explain this. Like, for me with blood, screaming because like for me with blood, I squeamish if it's my own blood. But if I'm like watching someone bleed, like someone else bleed, it doesn't make me squeamish at all. I don't know if it's just because I did sports medicine for like a year and I'm like used to it, or like, how are you squeamish with blood? Like, what's your issue with red ink?
It with red ink,
Yeah.
it's well, here's the thing. I don't think it's just the blood itself. I think it's what else I can sometimes see. Like, let's just be honest, the Kevin Ware situation,
Oh yeah.
Oh
like
yeah.
sometimes it's not just the blood itself. Sometimes it's like because I can see, like it's like if I can see someone's ankle go in a direction that I know it shouldn't, like that's the stuff that really gets to me.
Like,
It's not just necessarily the physical presence of blood itself. Like if I can see like let's say I can see like fake blood on like a video game or something, or if I can see like if I'm watching like a medical show or something and there's like some blood in that, those types of things don't always bother me all that much.
well, like does like a cauliflower ear or like a hematoma bother you?
I don't even know what you mean by that.
When you ever see fighters' ears, like UFC fighters or boxers,
No.
their ears all swollen.
No.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
Okay, hold on. I'm just curious if this is gonna make you squeamish.
Here, hang on. Let me look it up on my own screen.
Yeah. Look up cauliflower ear, because cauliflower ear doesn't make me squeamish. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, no.
Because
it
I've seen
doesn't.
because I've seen it. Because I've seen it.
No,
I've
no,
seen
this
it since
doesn't.
I was.
No, this doesn't bother me.
Okay, then what about a hematoma? Does a hematoma bother? Because a hematoma is basically like a concussion, essentially, but it's like
No.
blood coming out of your brain. Basically.
No, it doesn't. No, that doesn't
That
bother
doesn't
me.
bother you?
No.
That's wild.
Interesting.
Interesting.
That's what I get when I listen to Yankees fans talk on Twitter.
You get a hematoma.
Yeah,
I mean, that's partially your fault for trying to listen to them.
I know. Well, no,
I don't know.
listen to it. I'm just saying-
I like how you engage. I know we're a bunch over time, but these are some good conversations. Like your engagement on Twitter is hilarious because
know.
I don't have the balls to say this to people. To be like you'll say something and people will just smack you in the face.
People, like, I say things.
It's
just
so
like,
funny, bro.
Like, I'll say things and maybe a couple people, will like it and agree or whatever. But then there's sometimes where I say things that are completely obvious and true, and I'll get like 4 people like in my mentions being like, "Oh, you know what we're talking about?" I'm like, "Do you watch baseball?"
Well, also,
Like,
I think a lot of these
watch this
people are
thing?
just rage baiting you.
Well, like, no. Trust me, I've seen some very stupid Yankee fans. That trust me, I do not like. Yeah, if those 4 out of those 4 people, 2 of them probably are, but then there's always the other 2. Like, one of them is like half serious, half joking. Like, I can tell by the just like they'll say like LOL or something like that. But then I'll get like legitimately people who genuinely believe what they're saying, like their whole like philosophy
Heart and
about like
soul.
sports is
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, we're just miserable. Where I'm like, guys, like.
Most people on Twitter are miserable, I'll be honest.
Oh,
Because
Brandon. Speaking of which, any update on Grishy yet?
I
I
think
haven't seen
Meredith
anything either.
Meredith said during the game that it was was it left not left knee soreness. What was it? Left knee oh my god. It's basically it's not the same injury that affected him in terms of hamstring, so we're okay with that. But
Yeah.
it's something where it's like a left knee. It's not contusion. It's I remember when she said it, but I can't remember what the actual term was. It's like it's like left knee discomfort. That's what they said.
Oh
Mhm.
wow.
Um,
Well, at least that's okay
so
to hear. Um,
so it's okay, but we don't, but the thing is, you gotta be careful because it's like, God forbid, if it's like his kneecap or something, or if it's like his shin, it's gonna take a while to heal. So it's like, it
yeah.
might take him like a week or so. So we don't know. So, but
Here's
he's
a
gonna go.
here's. Wait, go ahead. Sorry, Brandon.
No, I was just gonna say he's going for imaging. Well, technically today because today is Thursday, so he's going for imaging today. So
I was gonna ask this in relation to the Twitter thing as like a post credit scene thing. Do you guys? I've had this thought recently. Do you think we're exposed to too much stuff?
oh yeah,
Just like
Yes.
in
oh yeah,
general,
Yes.
it's like you could search up anything and get an answer, and that
Yeah.
like messes with your head because it's like,
I mean,
am I
until
like
20,
overthinking it?
and
no, I
sometimes
mean,
it's
until
wrong.
20 or 30 years ago, that was never supposed to be possible.
And sometimes the answer that you get is wrong
Right,
now. Like
right.
it never before AI, like you can just Google something and it's like you could at least 9 times out of 10 trust that Google was right. Now, because their search results and everything are powered by AI has been known to be wrong, like notoriously wrong. So
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
now when I
It's
Google something to try to get an answer, now I don't know if it's right because now I'm
well,
like
well,
it's
well. That's the thing
It,
with the AI thing with Gemini. I do like Gemini a little bit because it does show you on the top left. Like we've compiled. If you look really closely, you can see what they've compiled. Like if you search something and it's like Washington Post, Wiki, like what, then I can trust it. But there's some stuff where
yeah,
so you have to look at what sources they use to know what
yeah,
they're saying is true. You have to know what the sourcing is. And most people don't see that when it loads up. And I
no.
find that really weird. Like, look at the top left right there. It will show you what sources the stuff is coming from. And if it's like,
That
oh,
and
the sources make sense.
for things, like when you search for things now, you have like when you type something in, you have to be really specific about what you're looking for because if you're not, it'll give you 10 million. Obviously, you have to be real specific about what you're saying, your keywords and whatnot. Because if you're not, it's not going to give you a good answer. So it's like,
Yeah, but people don't understand like the keyword stuff or how AI functions. And like
yeah,
that's the thing. Like, I don't have a problem with people using AI to like help them with certain things that are like math stuff. I get it. I'm not a math person. Of course, I can ask AI to help me with a math equation or this thing or that thing. But what I get scared of is the people online who are like, here's my AI friend, here's my AI like companion. That's where that's when we're having a problem. Well, it's like people are so lonely. You could have a lot of friends and you could still feel really lonely. And
yeah.
it's kind of it's so, and again, I'm not saying like this is like a male loneliness, oh woe is me kind of thing.
Well,
I don't
it's like
think
that
it's a
movie. It's like
male
the movie
thing.
we watched. Remember, we watched Her. So
It
that's a good
is kind of like
example.
that. But it is a good example. But what I'm saying is I don't think it's a male loneliness thing as much as is I just think people nowadays are naturally lonely. And something that I think is happening is that social media in particular is creating a place where you feel like you can't even trust anybody. Even if the person is well intentioned, you don't know. And
Yeah,
so people translate that. And so you're constantly questioning like
I
what
I agree
motives
that
people have.
I agree it partially would be partly social media. I also think that some of it was just like the massive landscape shift that we saw in just like social society when it came to things like, COVIDism and things like that, where
Yeah.
you've got this sort of realignment of how people communicate, how people work, the amount of people now who either work from home or, or like hybrid work from home,
Yeah.
um, going out and like, meeting people at like a coffee shop or a library or a one thing or another is so increasingly few and far between for
It's so
people.
foreign
Um,
for people. Yeah.
yeah, like I mean, like I said for years that like I didn't want to rely on like, I won't name them, but like, the infamous quote unquote apps to, meet people. But like increasingly, if everyone's flocking to there, then like it's hard to have a great idea as to, the alternatives when everyone's telling you, oh, just go there, oh, just go there.
Right,
Because
but it's convenience. That's
Yeah,
also the thing. And again, we're all culprits to it, but the internet has provided this immense level of convenience. Everything that you ever wanted pretty much is at your fingertips if you know where to look. Right? And so that's part of it too.
like what's crazy is like the one thing that we've always learned since we were kids is like that it's a true saying, but it's even truer now with how we have so many things at our fingertips that it's like they always say that there's no shortcuts to success, but nowadays there's a shortcut everywhere you turn to success. So it's like
There's a shortcut to success, but it's also like a huge aspect of the shift to AI, shift to anything that's popular. It's driven by money and trends now. Everything that's trendworthy, we're gonna throw money at it. Like I was explaining the other day, I was talking about how like clothing, for instance, clothing's a great example. Clothing is more expensive than it's ever been. The reason, well, like for example, handbag. Okay, let's just use a handbag as an example. I could go to any thrift store or whatever, get a really decent handbag for like $10, right? And if I was like a handbag person, that handbag, if I took care of it, could last me 10 to 15 years if I really wanted to, right? But you take that same handbag and put Gucci in front of it, it's $100K now. Because people are buying stuff now, and social media is a huge part of this. People are buying things now or subscribing to things now. We're all culprits of it based on, oh, I have this. This is a status symbol. Remember when Disney Plus came out and everybody and their mother was buying Disney Plus because everyone had it? Because it was a status symbol to have this random streaming service just so I can watch Disney shows that I barely watched when I was 5 years old. Like, this is what the landscape now is very much, it's always been that way, but it's more based on that of like, oh yeah, we're basing things based on brand and IP and like these things matter in the social media landscape. And then it's the misuse of intellectual property that's affecting things because of stock market, stock prices, etc. And that's going way too deep. But the basis of it is that social media has created a landscape where we're all looking to one up somebody when we don't know what's behind the curtain of that person's life. Most of the time, if someone is chronically posting on social media, privately they don't really like their lives. And people don't realize that. And it's like AI is meant to be a tool, not to be your friend. Like people aren't realizing that AI is like meant to say yes to you. It's programmed to say yes to your every need. And we don't need to say yes to everything all the time. And we also don't need everybody to have the same opinion as the other we don't need my opinion shouldn't be the primary opinion of everybody in the world. But that's what's happening is we're having these fights about whatever it is because of this complete misunderstanding of how society moves from a cultural level, a societal level, and interpersonal relationship level. And by the way, you might say, oh, why are we talking about this on a sports show? Sports is directly intertwined with all of this because social media is if you go on your Instagram page and you're a sports fan, there's sports everywhere on my feed. That's what's on my feed. If you're a fashion person, what's on your feed is fashion. That's what's on your feed. You're getting fed these things, and then in turn, you're getting fed the minority of these people that are meant to just rage bait you and be idiots because they can hide behind what did they say on Twitter? They can always hide behind the egg. You guys know the egg, the profile picture with the egg head. Remember back old Twitter, the old you can hide behind the egg. So there's these people.
Basically, you're a keyboard warrior. You don't owe anybody anything because they don't know that you're real or not. Like, they don't
and
know
blurs the line even further. But sports exceedingly is that. I mean, the reality is that sports, the more you learn about sports, the more you're around sports, especially for me with the NFL, I'm not like, I love the football aspect, but the business of it is way more interesting because it's so fickle as any business. It's such a fickle, and so everything's a business ultimately. And you can choose how you want to support those businesses, however, and whatever. But that's, I think, social media we've lost interpersonal connection in the space of this idea of I guess business, I guess, and sporting and that intertwines to sports. Am I making sense, or am I just being like a
No, I
YouTuber
mean,
idiot saying what
like
YouTubers say on a random podcast on a Thursday night? Whatever. Anyway,
no.
No, I mean,
It
you're
makes
generally
sense.
making sense. I mean, it also is 2:40 in the morning.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
it's just kind
like
of this
everyone,
tirade of like, and because I'm guilty of it too, and I try to stop myself and go, okay, like as much as I love sports, I realize that being a sports fan and doing a sports show, ultimately, we are talking about a business. And we are the people who are supposed to be the whistleblowers of the business, not Diana, but the rest of us. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my whole thing. Is you're complaining about decisions that you have no control over, that you can question, but you can't make your whole life, and a lot of people do.
yeah.
And that's what's scaring me, I guess.
Well, it's like,
Any more thoughts on that?
you know what it is though is like, it's like when you think about it from sports or anything, like you're talking about like sports or fashion or whatever. It's like when people see it on their feed and they see it so much, and then eventually it becomes your aesthetic. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's the same thing with like politics. If you constantly see left wing, left wing, left wing, left wing crap all day long, or vice versa, right wing crap all day long, that becomes who you become. Like it's like
Because
that.
you're
Like
getting feeded that thing. Yeah.
like it's like that. That's why I always tell people. I'm like, you have to realize that there's other opinions and there's other thoughts outside of your own. Like it's like like I don't. When I first got social media, I used to want to fight everyone on there that had a different opinion than me.
Me too.
But it's like that's what happens when you're 17, 18 years old. But eventually you grow up. Like now it's like
I'll be
yeah, I
honest
push that.
though, it when Instagram came out that was a dumb idea. I'm 12 years old with an Instagram account. Little did I know what I was walking into. You
But
Yeah.
know,
also, in
and
my
by the way,
opinion,
and then Instagram at that time was like, I mean, as Snapchat was when it first started,
that was what I was gonna say.
it's very much like it's very much like um how do we connect people with these really like, how do we make like body image, like I was freaking 12, body image, sexual relate, it's like, bro, you're doing this stuff to a 12-year-old kid. Like there was
Well,
no guardrails for these things. There was no guardrails in Instagram until I was like 17. And same with
yeah. Well,
Snapchat. Snapchat still doesn't have enough guardrails on these
oh,
things.
oh my god! Like the things you can still see on Snapchat are terrible. But it's
Oh my
like
god.
it's, but it's like it goes back to like I'm not advocating for it, but there is some good to come out of like obviously sort of social media and things like that and connecting people that you don't know, because not for nothing, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for an AOL chat room where my mom and dad met each other. So
Right,
like back
but that's what I'm
so
saying
like
though. There is good, but like I
yeah
don't know. There's something to be said for like the older you get. And again, 26 years old. I'm still very young. I'm not saying I'm not, but the older we get, the more we understand the
yeah
back end process of what's actually happening.
mm,
12-year-old me, 15-year-old me wouldn't have understood that.
oh no way
No
yeah
way.
like but it's like
No way.
but that's what happens when you get older. People always say like like there's certain people out there that don't grow up. When they hit their peak in high school or college, but they try to like keep chasing that their whole lives, whatever it is. Like they just don't grow up. But it's like generally for most people, as we get older, we not only do we learn from mistakes, but we learn what's real, what isn't, what to do and what not to do. Like you learn from these things because you've experienced it. So it's like it's, I created my Instagram account. Now, I was late to Instagram. I created mine at 17.
Yeah, I
So
created mine at 12. Awful decision.
yeah,
It was
I was
terrible.
like
It was an awful cesspool at that time, and I didn't even realize it.
I was legit like one of the last people in my grade back in high school to have an Instagram account. I was like the last one. And I remember being on there, and because the only thing I had at that time, the only thing I had was just Facebook. That was it. But I used it sparingly. I didn't use it a lot.
Yeah.
And
So I got Instagram at 12. I got off it, I think, at 14. Like, I'm still using that same account because it's connected to my Facebook. But I like swiped everything off and like redid the whole thing because I was like, this is 12-year-old me being an idiot. Like let's rehash this. And then Snapchat, that same thing. I didn't get to Snapchat until I was like during COVID, because I remember in high school, like and like people were telling me like this is how people are using this. They're using it for a lot of like nefarious things. And also Snapchat, like in my high school, like hurt a lot of people.
oh
Like a
yeah,
lot of really bad
yeah.
crap happened in my high school because of Snapchat existing.
Yeah, one of the kids one of the kids got booted, got basically expelled from our school because like it's like technically it's like was he doing anything wrong in like his eyes, in like a high schooler's eyes? No, because I know other people that did do the same thing, but he just got caught with this, like, because obviously being a senior, he just turned 18, but you're a high school senior, like,
Yeah.
so it was like, he was like, he was like basically taking pictures of like junior girls who were like 16, 17, like not like doing anything crazy, but just like without their consent, and they found out about it, and it got him expelled because even though
Because
he's like
it's without
older,
consent. Yeah.
it's without consent. Plus he's technically, because he's 18, he's an adult. So it's technically
Consent matters,
wrong.
boys. Consent matters.
So but it was like the worst one that really I think kind of messed up our generation like in the head is not Snap, not Instagram, not any of these. It's one that no one talks about because it's dead, but it's not really dead. Like it's just that it went underground. Is Kick.
Yep.
Kick
I was
is
not
bad.
a kick. I was not a kick guy growing up.
Oh,
Yep.
my
I was not
my
a kick
high
guy
school,
growing up.
back in middle school when we were 11, 12 years old, that was all that anybody was on.
Yep.
Because it was
I missed that completely.
because it was right before Instagram became a real thing. It was right before Instagram became a thing, and it was right before it was right when Facebook was starting to become too old people-ish. So
Yeah.
everybody was going to Kick in middle school back between 11 and 13. Everybody was on Kick.
It was
So
kind of parallel, like sister up with what was that website called?
I mean,
what,
Twitch is
AOL?
still a thing.
Hang on, no, not Twitch. What'd you say?
Like
Or-
AOL?
no,
Not
Like the
AOL.
chat rooms?
Remember Vine? Are you talking about Vine? Because Vine was
no.
huge.
It was like a web. It was a website. It wasn't an app.
Oh, was it
Omegle,
Microsoft's
Omegle.
version of Twitch that went underground, whatever that was called? I don't
Wait.
remember.
Are you thinking of Omegle
Yep.
or Omegle?
That's still a
Whatever it is?
thing. It's still
No,
a
it's not.
thing.
No,
It's
it's
not a
not.
thing?
They
No.
recently
Crazy.
shut it down. Like very recently, like last year,
Oh,
shut it
that's a
down.
good thing. That's a good thing. Oh
But
my
it was like,
god, that site was nuts.
that's how bad Kick was. And honestly, because it still exists, you could still download the app. It's just way different now. But like because
Kick
like
was on F1 cars as soon as last year, believe it or not. Kick
like
Solver was still a brand until Audi bought him.
I can't believe
Yeah, Audi
that
bought that F1 team now, but it was Kick Solver for like years.
that's like Kick was like one of the ones. It's like that's still probably to this day. That's the equivalent of like Omegle and like the AOL chat rooms. Like in
So
terms of
tell
how
me
the
it was
game
worse than
is.
Twitch, because I thought Twitch was bad to an extent.
No. Well, Kick was worse. Kick was worse than Twitch. Absolutely.
I
Kick
never
was-
knew that Twitch was even. But again, I never. I don't think I used Twitch once until I joined you guys.
Kick.
I love Twitch because of the gaming stuff, but the lifestyle stuff on that site is stupid. I hate it.
That was the issue with Kick. Was like Kick was good if you knew people's like Kick accounts, like if you were friends with them, and you create like a group chat with your friends on Kick, it was fine. But if you were to join like a group on Kick where it's like you only knew one person, but this group had like 20 people, you didn't know if you were talking to somebody who was your age, who was like 12, 13, 14, or somebody who was 50.
Yeah,
So it
and
was
by the
like,
way, that's something too that Discord is like struggling with, but also like I don't know if you go on your guys' app stores and see like all of these like anonymous chat apps.
oh yeah.
Those are scary. They're
Well, that's why I don't.
they're scary because I thought going into the anonymous chat ones, it's like okay, they verify ages and stuff. Yet a lot of them don't. A lot of them don't, and it's scary, dude.
Why do you think I don't use like I have an account just because I had to make one for like our family pictures over when we went to Portugal because we had to have one. It's the only way we can get and send pictures, but I don't use it at all. Is my WhatsApp. I don't use
Oh,
it
yeah,
at all.
WhatsApp is crazy. I
I
like
don't use it.
WhatsApp for like group stuff, but like for like family stuff, but like it is a cesspool on there.
dangerous.
It is awful.
I think the only
it is
I
terrible.
think the only time that I used WhatsApp was my mom went to Ireland. I think I used it for that
That's
when she went.
It's great for the European stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many like, and again, it's also like AI right now. The guardrails are a mess. But also, I don't know. I want to put this delicately. I don't understand how you could be 35, 40 years old. I do understand it to an extent. Loneliness is a thing. And you just like, you're 35, 30 years old and you mentally don't understand like how the back end of program works, where it is meant to just say yes to you. And like, it gets people caught in their like 40s and 50s. And I'm like, what is happening? Not everyone. I'm talking to a very, very small group of these people, very small. But that's the ones you see on the news. The ones you see on the news are the people who are just like, I have an AI girlfriend because my wife doesn't say hi to me when I walk into the door. Like, bro, how about you go and talk to your wife about that? Why do you need an AI to tell yet? It's
like
what is happening here?
Like you know what the scariest thing is to me is like, and this is why, it's not so much our generation, like if anything, our generation, because we were born into this whole new world of technology, and we were the first generation to have media literacy classes.
I know this from experience. We were the generation that made mistakes on social media and learned from them and understood how it works.
It's like people older than us are getting caught up in it because they didn't have that type of stuff back then, and they didn't have media literacy classes like we did. And then the younger kids, because they're so inundated with the technology, they're making 1,000 mistakes that are life altering. So it's like, and so they're
mistakes that we made when social media started, and we went, hold on a minute, we got to do better at this at 12, 13, 14. And then in high school is when we got like a lot of the media literacy stuff, not middle school.
But it's like we're the group that it's like we got to see the tech actually change between like the old school tech and the new generation. We got to see it change and grow with it. Whereas the older people didn't, and the younger kids just know, brain rot basically. So that's the thing is like do we like, so we can like we're like the middle child of the generations, where it's like we're not old enough to be out of touch, and we're not young enough to be stupid and foolish. So it's like we're the middle child, where it's like we're the ones that kind of have to bear the responsibility and tell people, hey, like, this is not how it should be, and here's how we should be doing things, because it's like we've lived kind of both sides of this.
Yeah, again, I'm not saying that we won't make mistakes on the internet, and everyone does, but like with AI especially, like the fact that it's one simple thing. The AI will always tell you yes, use it as an assistant if you need it for certain things, and move on. Don't like, what are we doing here?
Basically use it as a tool, but don't like use it as if you were using a hammer. Don't become the
That's
hammer.
exactly what I was gonna say. Don't use the hammer, but don't keep hammering it when the nail's all the way in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it's a tool. It's not the Bible. It's not your guide. It's like that's not what it's meant to be.
It was
It's
always
just
meant
gonna
to
be
be
a
a tool. It's a tool, yeah. It's weird. But no, I think it affects sports a lot because like I think a lot of people now, and this is why driving up costs for all these sporting events. I mean, I haven't looked at Indy 500 tickets. You could look at the Grand Prix in Canada this weekend. You can look at the Super Bowl VIP ticket packages. WWE right now is in that. UFC is in this a lot, where it's just like we're not appealing to the fan anymore because we care about stockholders. We care about, oh, can we get this famous celebrity at this event to show that it's popular? And it's like, yeah, it's alienating a lot of people who actually enjoy the products that
Well, what's
we
crazy is
build
now,
our weekends on, basically.
and here's a big downside to how it affects sports. It affects sports jobs and careers now because
Yeah.
now, because a lot of jobs are coming now, like basically a lot of the older sports jobs that one could do are either getting eliminated by technology and AI, or they're saying that it's AI assisted. But the problem is an AI assisted job basically means that AI is going to do a lot of the work for you,
Yeah.
pretty much. And it's like
Yeah.
that's not how it should be, because that's how more mistakes happen. And that's how people lose more and more skills over time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's not, like I see a lot of jobs in the sports field, like especially for journalism, obviously, where it's like, oh yeah, you want to be a sports writer? Okay, like we're gonna have you do because we want to pump out so much content a day, which is not humanly possible, but because they're becoming content mills, because stuff moves so
Yeah.
fast, but there's only so much a human can do. And so they're like, oh yeah, we want you to be like an AI assisted writer. I'm like, so we want you to just feed a bunch of slop through the content machines and AI and throw it out
We'll
there.
just write
So
the
the problem
article for you. Yeah.
yeah. So the problem is like, so it's not authentic coming from me, and then the person reading it is going to be literally given false information because AI is going to absolutely F it up. So
I
like,
never I have looked at some of these jobs. So have you. Sports, TV, and entertainment. Well, TV and entertainment. We can lump sports into that. The amount of jobs that are like, we need you to write 4 or 5 articles in a day of this many words. It's like, okay, so
not
you're
possible.
it's not only is it not possible, people can I don't think people are naive, or I don't think people are that naive to look at a website and go, yeah, this is a lot to pump out in one day. People
Yeah.
don't naturally do this. So what are you actually doing? You're just,
If I
and yeah,
yeah.
we're not naive. I don't know. Like I look at different, I'm not going to name names, but we look at different websites, not the big ones. I'm not talking at ESPN or The Athletic and that stuff. At least some of it gets pushed to the back, but they have a ton of writers who actually write authentic. I'm not talking about the big dogs at all. The companies that you always want to work for. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the little dog who's trying to become the big dog, and they're like, "Well, in order to become the big dog, we need to write 6 articles a day." No, that's not how ESPN became ESPN. It's quality over quantity.
Like you got to like people also have to realize, and this also falls in with the whole AI stuff too, is like yeah, and so deciding what's real and fake, but also deciding what's newsworthy and what's not. Not everything in the world, like they're like, oh yeah, we
Not
need to
everything
like
is news.
nowadays,
Yeah, not
like
everything's
like
news. Yeah,
nowadays. This is what I was saying about the content mills, especially with sports. It's like, oh yeah, like if they want you to write 10 articles, it's like you have to realize those 10 articles, out of those 10, maybe only 2 of them are actual sports news, and the rest of them are just like, okay, like this person just had a wedding today. That's not new. Like that's not news in sports.
I mean
Like
that
it's like
can be, but again,
it can be.
we're not TMZ. That's a whole different business.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a whole different. That's not our thing.
it's like
Except
you
if
have to
it
know your
is
audience.
with the Diana Rossini thing,
Like
that's really different. But
like
most of the
you have
time,
to know you have
someone
to know
having
your
a wedding
audience.
is not something we need to report on. Anyway, continue.
Like look, you have to know your audience. Like so it's like if I have 3, let's say if I have 3 articles, and one of them is, well, just because it happened, AJ Brown's wedding. Another one is is like, okay, Jack Hughes scoring the golden goal for Team USA, and another one is like, in the WBC, Team USA loses to Venezuela, whatever it is. The AJ Brown article is not sports
No,
news.
it's
Nobody
not.
in
It's
their mother
TMZ.
cares.
TMZ can handle that. That's their
Yeah,
domain.
but
I respect
nobody
that. They
cares.
can handle that. But that's what I'm saying. Like for the AJ Brown wedding thing, for example, that we're not tabloid news. I want tabloid news to handle that
Yeah.
because that's their thing.
And the
We're
problem is
separate
a lot of these
entities
sports.
for a reason.
That's the problem. A lot of these sports companies want you to cover everything. I'm like, but that's not news. That's not what we should be talking about. That's not
Yeah.
news.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
it's
no.
now if he was traded to the Patriots, that's news. But his wedding is not. That's not news to anybody. Nobody cares, bro. That's not sports
Yeah.
news. Like, that's what I feel like telling these companies are like, oh, we want you to push out, 15 AI assisted slop articles a day. It's not news. That's not content. That's quality, but that's not. But I mean, that's quantity, but that's
Other
not
way around.
content.
That's not quality.
Yeah.
But that's also part of it too. That bugs me. It's like I don't know. Yeah, I look like the NFL right now. I have NFL stuff because of FAH, and I'm looking at it and going, okay, what do we need to cover? After Memorial Day, is there anything that we can touch on? The majority of it, I'm like, I scroll through it, I'm like, my notifications, I'm like, been interesting. No. Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers coming back. We knew that. No. The Joe Burrow thing, I was like, okay, that's not necessarily news, but it's at least intriguing. And we can talk about it. It's not news, it's just intriguing.
At least make a joke out of it. Yeah.
Right. We could at least have a conversation. But like the whole thing, for example, Aaron Rodgers re-signing. The only thing I care about was the money. 1 year, $22 million with what, $3 million in incentives. We knew he was coming back 4 months ago. It's not news. It is news. I want to know that he's back.
Well,
But I
yeah.
knew that. Why do we need to talk about it on FAH next week? We don't. We don't. We knew it was happening.
And it's like what'll be news, even though he basically announced it with the signing of the contract, is that he's done after this.
He's
is it.
retiring after this year.
But everyone knew that going into it. That's not news. I mean, it is news, but it's not something. It's not something that constitutes a 10-minute conversation on a podcast. It just does not.
But then it's like, okay, but then it's like when the day comes and he does play his final game this season, that's like, oh, then it's news because then we can celebrate Aaron Rodgers' career, like Hall of Fame.
We can have a real conversation about his career. And by the way, that's going to be a really fun conversation because there's a lot of great stuff that he did and a lot of, let's just say, relatively unique stuff that he did, for better or for worse. So that's going to be so. Yeah, it's a misunderstanding. Sports is in a very unique category where the NFL is 365, especially. Like if you're in the National Football League circles, it is 365. But how much of the 365 actually matters? On May 20th, not much. The guys are just in OTAs. They're just getting ready for the season. A guy benching 320 isn't that interesting. A guy running a good route tree isn't that interesting.
Or people are making the big deal even for our side of things, like in Philadelphia, like, oh, that since AJ's been away from the team and since OTAs have started, that Jalen Hurts is smiling again. It's like, but who cares, bro? That's not football.
They're smiling. They're smiling because OTAs can be a pretty fun time if you have a good damn roster in front of you.
Yeah, and he's sitting there smiling, because who's working out right alongside him, pushing a sled also, Saquon Barkley. I'd be happy too if I was working out alongside the GOAT.
And by the way, people, and that's the thing I'll leave you with NFL wise, is OTAs training camp. This period of time sucks for these guys. It's draining. You're living in a hotel room. You're away from your families, especially training camp most of the time. You're traveling, doing ridiculous preseason games, especially if you're a veteran that you do need it, but you're only going to play a couple snaps. You're just sitting there. It's draining. Aaron Donald was saying the reason I retired wasn't because I didn't like it. It's because I just didn't want to be away from my family for 3 months doing camp. Like, it's draining for these guys. And we're making a big deal of a guy's route tree or if he's happy. Guys, who cares? Like, let these guys get ready for the year, and we'll see you in August, I guess. Like, we'll see you in late August. Hopefully healthy.
That's the thing, is that people mistake the term that, like, whatever, news doesn't sleep, for the fact that it's like, news doesn't sleep because there's always something you can find, but it does take a break eventually in terms of how important it is to the news cycle.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
like news itself does not sleep, but the importance of that news will eventually take a snooze, because eventually at some point it won't matter.
I'm sorry, guys. It's summer. Let's go to the beach. Like, why are we talking about random Saquon Barkley sledding 500 pounds that he does every year? What are we doing?
Yeah. Oh, I can fawn over that all day long, but but you know how that is. But see, like,
anyway,
we've spent that, like, this is our longest show yet. Like,
yeah.
But
because
all
I
these-
wanted to bring it up as like a post credits.
I think I've said 10 words in the last hour.
I'm sorry, but no, it's just because it intrigues me how social media has like affected our sports world, and how
for real.
all of these things converge in such a unique way. And so I wanted to bring it up to kind of end the show, because I've been thinking about it a lot lately, because it's quite fascinating. Yeah. And again, NFL news is so different from like Major League Baseball or the NBA and stuff like that. The news cycles are very different, so you have to get used to it. They're so different. Like I don't know, like some of like the NBA is quite similar, just because the NBA is more of a soap opera than it is a sport during the off season. But yeah, that's all I got really. I just wanted to bring that up, see what you guys thought of it, and I'm glad it brought some good conversation, because it is, even though we went way over time, but I thought it was interesting, so I figured I'd bring it up. Why not?
Well, thank you for that. Brandon, any final words from you, my brother? Before we meet up again in about 14 and 15 hours.
Yeah.
Are you going to be on the show tomorrow, or are you going to be delayed? I have to sub in for a bit. What's the deal?
It depends. Hopefully, if the game ends early enough, I should be back. Like, if we start.
Is it a getaway day game? Is it early?
No, it's night. It's a night game.
Wait, how are we going to do the show then?
Oh, sorry.
Because the thing is, it depends. If I can beat the traffic, whatever it is, like, then it's like.
Because I'll sub. I don't care. I'll sub.
Because we typically start the show at 7
Oh
Eastern.
no! You know why? I'm thinking of the FAH time, not WTS. So yeah, then you'll have to sub, because it starts at
I'll
the game
sub.
starts at 7. Yeah, the game starts at 7, and the show's obviously at 7. So
yeah.
But I will be taking pictures that you can. And the thing is, I'll send it to you guys. You could probably throw it up as the game's going on. Throw the pictures.
That sounds great. Thanks, man.
What
have a great time.
What time? So wait, it's still the Blue Jays series, right? Are they still in town?
One game. That's the last game
I
against
thought
the
it
Blue
was
Jays.
a 3-game set, not a 4-game set.
So did I. I thought the Tampa was the 4-game, but I guess not.
And you would figure that it would be like that kind of, that day off, because Thursday is the usual day off. But
right, for most of Major League Baseball. That's stupid. I hate that. That Thursday is basically an MLB sabbatical every week. I think that's so dumb. You're just missing out on a national window in the middle of the week. Well, Fox, I guess. Fox has taken that Thursday thing. Yeah. Well, because they want to beat Thursday Night Football, because they lost it, and Amazon beat them to the punch. Anyway. All right. Well, I'll sub then. That's fine.
Well, all right.
What
then
do we have
I guess
tomorrow? So we have the Knicks game tomorrow. We have the Yankees. I think we have Eastern Conference Finals tomorrow in hockey. So Canadians.
Yeah. I was gonna say. Which we didn't even get to hockey tonight, but that's.
So we'll get to tomorrow. We'll get to tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll start with hockey tomorrow, since this is the only sport we didn't cover tonight.
Yeah, we'll start with it. I'm very curious how that Canadian series is going to go. I did not like how they played last round.
Oh, I think Carolina's going to smack the crap out of them.
I think Carolina's going to beat them in like 5.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get shellacked, but we'll see.
All right. Well,
All right.
Brandon, have a
Peace.
good time at the game tomorrow, and Rob, I'll see you in the evening.
I'll see you
Until
then, brother.
All right, y'all have a good night, and we'll talk to